Okay. Let's hope the internet actually stays fucking stable tonight. Because it what? God damn it! Because it wasn't last night. Okay. Alright, we'll get back into this. Because I died when the internet went out. Because Cox is fucking garbage. As far as internet providers go. Alright, I'm going to listen to a podcast while we're running.
Play on in your written work? Is it? Do you view it perhaps as more or less important than your machinima? I mean, where do you draw influence on? What kind of direction are you aiming to take it in?
Well, as far as my fiction goes, I've been doing that far longer than I have been doing machinima.
This is a fucking old
I love
ass
film, I love music,
Oxford
but I really do still believe that the written
interview
word
back when
is
Oxford
probably
wasn't
the
so
best
fucking
medium
cringe.
for expressing a good story. And so, while I love machinima, it does take a backseat to my fiction. And I've completed a novel, which I'm trying to get published right now.
religious fiction.
I've got a lady who works at a press reading it, and I don't know where that's going to go, but I do have high hopes, far higher hopes than I probably should have. But I just really love to write, and the nice thing about that is that you don't have to learn a fancy program like Adobe Premiere in order to do it. All you got to do is open up Microsoft Word and just sit down and tap away. So I find myself doing that much more often than anything else.
Excellent. Right, let's go a little bit WoW specific for a moment. One of the listeners asks, what's your opinion on the Burning Crusade expansion in general?
Well, everything I've seen about the Burning Crusade has just been absolutely fantastic. I actually haven't installed it yet. The reason for that being, I have just been completely preoccupied with work, with my classes, with writing. I just actually haven't played WoW all that much, and in fact, the past, 6 or so movies that I've made, I haven't even actually logged into World of Warcraft to shoot them. It's all been with WoW Model Viewer and WoW Map Viewer and utilities like that. So, I mean, I hear it's a great program, and actually, I feel kind of bad about this, but I got my mom hooked on World of Warcraft a while back. And ever since then, she has just been playing it religiously, and she's actually got a level 70 priest. And
Really?
she bought the Burning Crusade, and she's got a flying mount. She's got, 5 or so different other mounts. And, of course, I persuaded her to get a Kodo. She's got 2 Kodos, by the way. So I'm very proud of her. And, she just, whenever I go to visit her, that's all we talk about is Burning Crusade. She's like, oh, Burning Crusade's so great. Like, okay, well, maybe I'll play it one of these days.
Brilliant. I mean, you mentioned there, just to pick up on something, flying mount. It does seem to me that maybe a flying mount could be a very, very useful tool in perhaps the production of machinima. Could you see yourself using that as a sort of flying camera?
I don't know. That's a good question. Some of the limitations of flying mounts is that I believe you can only use them in the Outland, if I'm correct.
Yeah, that's true.
So if I ever wanted to, do a flyover of Orgrimmar or something like that, I wouldn't be able to. Also, the versatility you have with using WoW Model Viewer and WoW Map Viewer is just unparalleled. I mean, there are things that you can do with those programs that you cannot do in the real world. That said, that people who watch these machinima movies, they want to see stuff that is shot in the real world. That's their natural inclination because it feels more real to them. So I think that a good machinima maker can
How am I going to find that
use
bitch?
WoW Map Viewer and WoW Model Viewer as incredible tools in order to do things that they can't do in the real gaming world, but that the majority of what they do should be shot in the gaming world. But I haven't even done that myself because my account has been expired for nearly a year. That's probably something I should work on.
Yeah. I'm sure one of the listeners would be more than happy to buy you a 60-day card.
Well, I actually won a free year-long subscription in the last contest, but they haven't given it to me yet. One of these days they'll give it to me.
I assume this is where the bitch is.
I've got a couple of quick-fire general questions just to round off this interview. If you'd roll Alliance, would we have seen the Great Knight
Is he in there?
Oh, heavens no. No, absolutely not. I'm sorry, I'm a Kodo purist. The little striders, the mechanical things for the gnomes, those are all right. The rams are pretty cool. Horses, but cats? No, I'm sorry. To all the cat lovers out there, no mean to hurt your feelings, but riding a giant cat, no, just doesn't work.
Well, Well, you do seem to not. Let's just put it mildly. You're not really a massive fan of night elves, are you? I mean, do you hate blood elves as much as you do night elves?
You know, as far as my hatred of elves go, I am a complete purist. I hate blood elves just as much as I hate night elves. So don't think that I've got a double standard here. Anyone with long ears and is tall and slender and calls himself an elf, I hate you. Not the player, of course. Just the actual race.
Fantastic. What is your beard made of? Is it Kodo hair or Chuck Norris? That's the choices.
Kodo hair or Chuck Norris?
Kodo hair and Chuck Norris.
Definitely Chuck Norris, I think. Yeah.
Chuck Norris? Absolutely. Well, what else have we got? Now, I've got a listener who asks, a specific scene, actually. I don't actually remember this one, so you might have to enlighten me. And he says, how did you come up with the whole, what have I done, I've killed a wabbit scene? It was quite frankly made of win.
Well, that's from Red Snapper at the beginning.
Come on, reset all fucking ready, assholes.
In cartoons, as I am.
God
It
damn.
actually comes from a Looney Tunes episode. It's when they did an opera, and you've got Elmer Fudd running around, you know, chasing Bugs Bunny, and he has his spear and magic helmet.
Of course it doesn't fucking work on them.
Yo ho, yo ho. And then when he actually kills Bugs Bunny, he goes, "What have I done? I've killed the wabbit." But then I put in the oh well.
Yeah, okay, well there's the reference to Hammer and Magic Helmet then. Will we actually see more of the Tauren with his Hammer and Magic Helmet?
Well, the guy who played, I mean, that's Oxhorn, my actual character in the real game, and I actually use him in the majority of my movies, so you'll see him in,
My God,
probably
dude,
a
what
number of other movies I do. In
fuck?
fact, in Inventing Swear Words, he plays the guy in the blue suit. Oxhorn does.
Hey, can I get a
Fantastic.
fucking minute to reflect everything?
Do you know actually anyone
God
actually
damn!
uses those invented swear words?
Can I get a fucking minute?
I'll go onto YouTube every now and then and read some of the comments people leave, and on Inventing Swear Words and Inventing Swear Words 2, people are saying, "Oh man, I use these at school all the time," or "Oh man, my friends use these on camping," or whatever.
Fucking retarded.
I've actually found myself saying "Bloit" every now and then. In fact, that's probably the one that I use more often than anything is "Bloit."
Well, why don't you fucking heal up when you're summoned? What the fuck?
Shared with the wide world yet?
Kill this fucking faggot. God
Yeah,
damn.
well, I mean, I came up, I made a list of different swear words that I wanted to use, and I've narrowed them down to the ones that you've seen in the movies. But I mean, I've got a script completely written for Inventing Swear Words 3.
Jesus.
If only I can find the time to sit down and write it. And I do have some words saved for that one as well.
Fantastic. So, was that a little bit of a hint as to what we can expect in the future? What will we see from the Oxon Publishing House?
As far as what you will see, I can't tell you. What I want to show you, well, there's a lot. I mean, I've written 2 new songs that I'd like to turn into music videos, and there's 2 songs that I've sung in my choir that I'd like to turn into music videos. I've written a script for Inventing Swear Words 3, and at least the trailer to that I hope to get out maybe during spring break sometime, but no promises, no promises. But the one I want to do most of all is the sequel to Racing the Grim Totem, because I do have a sequel for that written.
Fantastic. You'll have to get those songs over to us and we'll play them live on the air for our listeners.
Well, I have to sit, I mean, I've written them, and I know the tunes. I have to sit down and record myself singing them first.
We'll be waiting with bated breath, definitely. Now, as far as videos go, do you have a personal favourite?
Yeah. That would be Racing the Grim Totem.
Okay.
That's my personal favorite.
And why is that?
Well, it's very... I mean, I know it
Thanks for
goes on
explaining
very
what the
popular
fuck
themes,
Soul of the Void does.
Revenge.
Fucking
And,
nothing.
I don't think revenge is a very healthy or
Just
good
like
thing to
there's
do, but
nothing
that's
in that
part of
fucking
human nature
chest.
is to want revenge, and that's why it resonates with a lot of people. I think it's the most, I guess, artsy movie I've ever done, but that's not why I like it. I like it just because it's a story about, you know, what someone does to approach loss. You know, it's about love and loss, and I just really like the theme for that one. Plus, it's in black and white, and it's the only black and white movie I've ever done. Or sepia tone, actually.
Yeah, I mean, there's another thing that I picked up on, one of our listeners actually picked up on as well. You seem to include a shout-out to the Lord and Saviour at the end of every one of your productions. Is there any particular reason to that?
Yeah, I try to do that at the end of all of my movies, and on my page on warcraftmovies.com as well, which is a fantastic site, by the way, just to give them a little shout-out.
Fucking cunt. Better fucking thank God.
The reason I do that is because
Holy
I'm a Christian, and, you know,
shit.
I believe that you should give glory to God. I mean, I think it's 1 Corinthians 10:31 that actually says, in everything, you know, give glory to God in everything you do. And so hopefully I can give a little bit to him in these movies that I'm doing.
Absolutely. I've got one last question before we wrap this one up. It's from Spirit Wolf. I think you know Spirit Wolf.
Yeah.
Yeah, Spirit Wolf is actually going to be interviewed next week on the show, which should be interesting to say the least. And he has a question. He says, an educated, upsmart chap such as yourself surely has a favourite type of tea.
A favourite type of tea? Well, of course I have a favourite type of tea, being so educated as I am, tongue-in-cheek. Probably green tea. That's what I've been drinking recently, out of my ugly mug here. So yeah, green tea. Yes, it's a rumpf mug.
Oh, I was going to say, just how ugly is this mug?
It's very ugly. It's got a cross-eyed guy on the inside and a gremlin on the...
Are you fucking retarded?
And a gremlin on the inside.
Greg, I wait for this fag to fucking respawn. God damn it.
Thank you very, very much, Mr. Oxon, for coming on the air with us today. And what was your website again?
My website is www.brandonmdennis.com.
Check it out, folks. That's in order. This has been Oxhorn on Blue Please. We're going to head over to a music break now, so stay tuned for just after the break. I'll have yet more scintillating and, quite frankly, rant-worthy topics to cover.
God damn it.
Thank you, Mr. Oxhorn.
Thanks for having me.
Okay. To the music. Enjoy. And that was Oxhorn live on WoW Radio. Not so much live, but pre-recorded. I've got a bit of Nubcake news for you now, and I'm announcing the winners of the epic giveaway. Stay tuned. Nubcake news. Stop that. Welcome to this week's edition of Nubcake News.
Google what that does, because no one's fucking told me in this game.
Were they really forged from pure, unadulterated, matter-enriched fail? Plus, additional generic, mildly amusing report that doesn't exactly exist, but was simply inserted for the benefit of the feature as a whole. But first, analysts have today released new and exciting confidential information about the brand new terror lurking in Shadow Moon Valley, known as
the Black Temple.
Yes, I did say
the Black Temple.
It is a place of unparalleled evil and danger where only the bravest adventurers may go to acquire minor upgrades to their already existing raiding gear. Many scouters sent into the instance have yet to return, but we managed to get one into the studio to talk about what we can expect inside
the Black Temple.
So, what does the scouter say about its power level? The power level is in fact quite low. Illidan did not pay his electric bill. Half the lights are out. The TV only receives QVC. And there's a smell of rotten milk that echoes through the halls and passages like some kind of milk rotting. As I advanced through the instance, I passed many a generic trash mob. Fortunately, since the instance has not been implemented as of yet, the mobs have no aggro table and thus ignored me. They were sat around playing cards. And one was even seen writing a protest letter to Illidan himself, which read, "Your temple is on an incline. Angry trash mobs cannot play skittles." As I advanced into the dungeon, I encountered several cunning traps, including Pit of Lava, Pit of Fire, Pit of Flame, and Pit of Angry Mice. All of which I deftly avoided with the agility of a cat form and the cunning of a murloc. I was confused to discover that there was in fact no bosses as of yet, only placeholders for bosses, large pieces of floating and possibly demonic paper, which included a list of abilities and descriptions. I was able to produce a copy of one of these to show you today. It reads, Boss number 7, Evil Guy the Something Breaker. Has 2 ads, must be tanked near the plume of smoke. Since there are no classes that can actually tank at this point in time, with druids being nerfed and all, the boss will in fact simply stand there and allow you to hit him. He has 2 ads, which will mind control each other. This must be purged to avoid embarrassing confusion and possible social security issues. As I ventured onward into the instance, I encountered 12 other placeholders, which all contained the phrase, 2 ads, tank and spank, absolutely 100% original reskins of Molten Giants and Elementals, a huge challenge. Finally, I reached the throne room itself, where I came upon the only functional boss in the instance, Illidan himself. The encounter appears to go as thus. Illidan stands in the center of the chamber, rooted in a pool of his own emo tears. He cannot directly attack anyone that is not in melee range, so position your tank in front of him. He has a ranged AoE called Cry Cry of Illidan, which will cause all those cords in the blast to sit down and knit cardigans for 20 seconds. This is especially dangerous for the priests, who really should not be wearing cardigans. It makes them look quite silly. At the 3-minute mark, you will trip over and fall face first into the pool, submerging and spawn 8 Sons of Emodin, which will cast Drain Patience on random intervals on your tank and healers, causing them to hearth out in disgust. After these acts have been defeated, Illidan will emerge, pull out his small battery-powered hairdryer, and dry himself off. He is immune to all damage during this time, and that buff will last for 3 hours, at which point he will claim it is not yet his time, and wipe the raid. So, an intriguing and original counter, you say? Absolutely. Blizzard has really excelled themselves this time. I can safely say that we are not prepared. Ha ha ha! How droll. This has been No Cake News. Good night.
Primed for action.
Torqued to the breaking point.
And fueled by 3 gallons of Noggin Fogger Elixir. This is WoW Radio.
You're listening to WoW Radio, you're listening to Blue Please with myself, Total Biscuit. The Oxon interview, a mighty, mighty thing. That's BrandonMDennis.com. Check out all of his work, it's very good indeed. I've got a couple of Oxon songs and skits coming up a little bit later on in the show.
Alright. Alistair, what do you got to say?
What now?
Did the Weaver?
The magic of the wizards dissipates and the ley energies fade into dormancy. Your efforts have been fruitful, adventurer, and we have dealt a major blow to our enemies and to the overbearing wizards of Dalaran. We must be vigilant, however, knowing that source of energy lies so close at hand. Plans must be made for the future. If our scouts and agents continue to procure valuable information such as this, we shall have the Lich King's scourge removed from our lands in no time. Our time will come.
God damn it. Fucking Tiger's Eye. Nobody buys
If our
those
scouts
anyway.
and agents continue to procure valuable information such as this...
Yeah, we've already heard that. Okay. So good. I can get that. Gotta get staff now. Thank fuck. Yeah, let's sell off some of this shit.
I am forsaken.
Definitely sell that off. I'll keep that. Probably put that on the AH. For pretty good. Yeah, it's... Nah, somebody will buy that. Somebody will definitely buy the swiftness potion.
Our time will come.
Sure it will. Sure it will. Okay. Do I have... Turn that up to 15. Makes a bit more sense. Wow. Yep.
Greetings. Our bats are well trained and fed. You'll not find faster.
How you doing tonight, Judgment? Kazzy. Hope you're doing well. I'm probably just gonna have to head to fucking Hillsbrad at this point. God damn it. Can't do that. But you know who I... Yeah, right. For a name change? No. If you change your name, I'm gonna have no clue who the hell you are. Oh, Fetner? Oh. Well, hey, Fetner. Shit. How you doing tonight? Hope you're doing good, though. Okay, you're good. Good. Glad you're good. What, you gotten just feeling a little Yakuza tonight? On a Yakuza kick or something? Nightmarish Mojo. That's new. Die trying. More like try dying. Okay, chef down there. Yeah, you haven't played any Yakuza in a bit. Ah.
I am forsaken. Ah, good. These hands killed my wife, Dilia. Revenge for her murder was my only care. And you were the instrument of that revenge. Here, take the ring you returned earlier. Delia has been dead to me for so long, her ring is a bauble I no longer care to keep. Instead, I will keep these hands as a remembrance of my friend's betrayal.
Bruh. You're gonna keep the hands, but not the ring? Bruh.
Beware. Our enemy
Hope
is
you don't give a fuck about his dead wife. It's crazy. Alright, what do I have? A bunch of pants that didn't sell. That sold. Shit. I gotta sell. I need to get some bags. I got almost 10 gold. I can get some bags. Could probably only afford like 10 slaughters though. Trying to find any good bags. This is gonna be a bitch. And I am a tailor. I should try to make them, but it's gonna take a while. There we go. Small silk pack. Is there anything better than that? No, there really ain't.
I can't equip that. I can't equip that. I can't equip that.
There we go. Alright. Well, I'm running through here.
You just heard the sound of
Put
Nubcake
that
news,
on.
and that is in fact the Black Temple. Yes, the Black Temple.
So that I'm not bored.
Right. I suppose I better do that prize draw before Mazrigo crashes. Right. You guys are misbehaving, and I disapprove of everything you do. There we go, disclaimer out of the way. Right, okay, I have 50 correct answers in my inbox. There are 10 prizes in total.
That works.
There are 2 WoW European Collector's Editions. There is a Turtle Mount card. There is, as kindly donated by Mr. Deus X, a $50 character portrait at the Painted Axe. And 2 WoW time cards. There are 2 WoW TCG starter packs. And for the runners-up, there are 4 WoW Radio Limited Edition Comedy Collection CDs, which I have in my hand right now, signed by the Murloc.
Over there.
Indeed, the Murloc. So, I'm going to do this prize draw right now before things get completely out of hand. So let's get on with it. 50, and I will roll between 1 and 50. Once, of course, I have eliminated 1, I'll go to 1 and 49, and I will announce the name that you have given on your email. And those people will be contacted, and we will sort the prizes out between them. Okay? That's it. If you're in the last 4, you get a runners-up prize. If you're in the first 5, what we'll basically do is we'll give someone the first choice, then the second choice, then the third, and I'll email them about it. So, without further ado, let's get on. The answers to the epic giveaway. Question 1, I believe. What were the colour of the pantaloons? The answer is orange. Question number 2. What spells do shamans hate? That is counterspell. Number 3. Which drawer does Mr. Chris Metzen keep the Outland in? That is the 3rd drawer down. Number 4. What is the colour of Archmage Vargoth's beard? Now I will accept orange, ginger, and brownish. And number 5. Where did I take Archmage Vargoth on holiday? The answer is Oshigan. 50 people got that
Good,
right.
you've got some grit.
50 out
I
of
like
those
that.
who entered.
Well then, let's
Time
get going.
to do some rolling. Now, the first prize winner. First prize winner. Number 46, which is Mr. Claes Peterson. Well done indeed. Claes Peterson, the winner of the top prize.
Wasn't even worth it.
I should be emailing him momentarily. Okay, second one.
Yeah.
149. Number 21. Oh god, I'm going to have to count all these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Oystein Bergenes. Number 21 is the winner of the second prize. Congratulations. Here we go. Let's see what else we've got. Number 16. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. John Zeepvat. John Zeepvat. Well done. Third prize winner. Here we go again. Let's see what else we can get. Random 47. Number 33. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
Good,
9,
you've got
10,
some grit. I like
11,
that.
12, 13,
Well then,
14,
let's get going.
15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
Nah.
21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. What was it again? I can't recall. 33? You spamming fools. 33 is...
Yeah, it ain't gonna do me any good.
someone called Mini
To do anything with that
Steve.
cloth.
Well done, Mini Steve. Let's get the rest of these out really quick and fast. Random 46, number
Send it back to
20
my robe.
on the list. 1, 2, 3,
bandages
4,
out
5,
of
6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I really should have numbered these. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Andrew Morris, congratulations. Okay. Now, a couple more to go. Number 21. That is, in fact, Johannes Ekberg. Well done, Johannes Ekberg. A couple more to go for you. Number 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Brendan Burns. Brendan Burns, well done indeed.
Make our way to Terran Mill.
A couple more.
Well.
Number 8. That is, let's see. Check the email. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Someone who goes by the name of Zeosis. Oh, that is really, really, really difficult. Zeosis, well done. Well done, Zeosis. 2 more.
Ouija, that's a Simpsons reference.
Number 17. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Fucking
6,
shit, dude.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Chris Johnson, well done. A runner-up prize for you there.
Nope. More of a Tornami here.
Number 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Andras Zuxan. Well done on a runners-up prize. So how many have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and that's the lot. That's all of them. Those 10 people.
Yeah.
Andras, non-particular order. I'll sort the order out after the show when I email you all. Claes Peterson, Mini Steve, Johannes Ekberg, Andrew Morris, Chris Johnson, Oystein Berkens, Jean Zeevat, Brendan Burns, Ziosis, and Andras Zuxan. Congratulations. You win prizes. I should be emailing you after the show. Okay, I'm done. I'm getting the hell off this realm. Because I'm being given copper and being molested by fanboys. Quick, log out! There we go, I've escaped the madness. Right, so let's get back on with the topic, shall we? Now, the topics for this week, there are many and varied. Let's see what we've got in our email box as regards to our topics so far. Wow, I have far too much content for the show. It's great, it's going to overspill into the next one. What else have we got? Now, Andrew Dixon emails, following on from last week's show. The news has suddenly sprung up. Yep, we're aware of that. John Collins actually emailed in about the public test well notes, which I am about to cover. I'm going to read this one email and then discuss what I call less QQ, more pew-pew. Blatantly ripped from a meme on the forums. Now, public test well. Now, John Cullen says this. What annoys me is that they still refuse to give the priest class some form of viable survivability. Power Word Shield, it's gone in one strike. Priests are the most fragile PvP heroes. They're with no way to attempt to save themselves in an emergency. Paladins have their bubble and their heavy armor, shamans have mail armor, and druids can switch to bear form. Both shamans and druids can also nature swiftness themselves for big, uninterruptible heals. Priests have nothing. They... What else is that? I can't even read what that says. Yeah. We've got Prayer of Mending. Then we've got Prayer of Mending. And by spamming it on ourselves, we could stay alive. Maybe, but it was better than nothing. By taking that away... It shows, in my opinion, that Blizzard are saying Paladins are the PvP healers and that Priests should spec Shadow if they want honour. From a PvE perspective, it seems stupid to ruin a perfectly good spell for the sake of the game, which is an afterthought and only exists in the way that it does today due to considerable posts asking for more structured and rewarding PvP. Right, so this kind of outlines what people will actually say regarding balance, yeah? And, of course, the natural response is less QQ, more PPU. Now, just how valid is that particular statement? I mean, we're looking at nerfs. The big nerfs we've got this time. We've got some nerfs to priests, particularly shadow spells and, of course, Prayer of Mending. The huge nerfs go out to druids. Particularly, druid tanking has been nerfed into the ground, or so people will claim. So, let's actually have a look at those public test roll notes. Let's try and pull them up right now. Let's see what we've got on wow-europe.com. Probably very, very little. Yep, wow-europe.com has no useful information whatsoever. That is no surprise whatsoever. Let's go to worldofwarcraft.com and see what we can see. Again, absolutely nothing. Brilliant. Let me try and find these public test roll notes. So, basically, what's been happening on the forums is you've got huge whines, huge threads about druid nerfs, particularly. And, I mean, it's not really surprising, because the nerfs are relatively large. Test realm patch notes. Google for the win. Haha, there we go. Test realm patch notes. Right, nerfs to druids include... Bear form now grants 25% increased stamina instead of 25% increased health. Some people might think that that's better, but actually that's a nerf. Dire bear form now grants 25% increased stamina instead of 25% increased health. In addition, the armor bonus has been reduced from 450 to 400%. The multiplier on base weapon damage for Mangled Bear has been changed from 130 to 100%. Additional, the bonus damage has been reduced by the same ratio. Savage Fury no longer affects Mangled Bear. Savage Fury no longer affects Maul or Swipe. The critical damage bonus on Predatory Instincts has been reduced. And improved leader of the pack can no longer get critical heals. The armor bonus for Moonkin has been increased to 400. The rage normalization equation has been adjusted to grant more rage. So, you're looking at what's been nerfed, yeah? The aggro gain you're able to get from Mangle, yeah? Because the bonus damage has been taken down. And, of course, the aggro gain for Maul and Swipe, because Savage Fury doesn't affect it. The armor has been nerfed and the health has been nerfed. So, relatively major nerfs. I mean, if that happened to a warrior, of course, everyone would be up in arms and like, what the hell? The warrior's the tanking class. Why are you nerfing its stamina? OMG, I quit, you suck sauce. Now, that's the kind of thing you'd expect. But the reactions are really, really rather crazy.
Some weed here.
Now, I'm going to go to the WoW Europe forums to see if I can track this thread down. I saw the best thread, which pretty much epitomises the point I'm going to try and make, which no doubt some people will not like. And boo-hoo, I do not care. Because if I gave you all opinions you loved, well, that would just suck, wouldn't it?
Summon you up.
Who is... Aha, yes, the amazing thread. If druids don't tank, who will? OMG. If druids don't tank, who will?
Help! Help! I'm being repressed!
Yeah. I mean, that's great. We all know that up until now, druids have been much better tanks than warriors in 5 mans. Better DPS and better crowd control, but what now? Well, here's the start. 5-mans don't matter. Sorry to tell you this,
Yeah,
but
neither
5-mans
do
are
I,
pretty much
bitch.
irrelevant. They always have been. They're pre-end
Thank you.
game, yeah? Even heroics haven't closed the gap, because let's face it, we're going Karazhan, we're going the Eye now. The Grats to Nihilum for taking down McFerrin, they're now, of course, wandering their way into the Eye. We've got Serpent Shrine.
Oh, I didn't
and
even
we
go to
have,
the
of
Warlock
course, Guzle, yeah? All this stuff.
Oh,
And then
well.
we've got Black Temple and Zolaman and whatever the hell else they want to throw at us, and that's the end game. 5-mans are not. Heroics are things that you can pug if you have a really, really good pug. And as far as I'm concerned, if you are pugging raid instances, then that raid instance is too easy or too old. Okay? Now, he goes on to say this. I guess many people are really happy druids got nerfed, but what about when you don't want to do a 5-man? Less druids will be there to fill the role, so you need warriors. But warriors haven't been buffed much. Oh no, warriors haven't been buffed much. Like, let's see. Warriors. The rage normalization equation has been adjusted to grant more rage. The typical warrior should see an increase of 15 to 20% in their rage generation. 15 to 20%! All warriors have had their critical strike chance adjusted slightly, about 1% extra crit for nothing. The cooldown on Victory Rush has been removed. Thunderclap is now usable in defensive stance. An Unbridled Wrath has been modified so that rather than a fixed chance to grant rage, has increased chance when using slower weapons. Wow! Buffs to warriors. Yeah, because warriors have never been buffed at all. Sorry to tell you this, druids. Now, I like druids. I have 3 in my guild. I think they've got great utility. But they'll never replace a dedicated class. A Moonkin will never replace my mage. Yeah? A Tree of Life will not replace a Holy Priest. To some degree. Because while a Tree of Life is a great healer, it doesn't quite have the utility. A Bear Tank will never replace a Warrior. Was it ever even to be that way? If you're a hybrid class, should you be better? I mean, let's take a look. Hybrid classes, yeah? If you had a hybrid class in Dungeons & Dragons, you'd naturally be weaker than a dedicated class. If you had a bard, for instance, you'd be a jack of all trades, master of none. You could do all this cool stuff. You know what? I'd love to be able to tank. I frequently try, and it doesn't work very well. Let me tell you that way. Yeah? I'd love to be able to heal. I can't do that outside bandages and pots. I'd love to be able to shift into a bear form and go and do melee damage. I can only shift into forms when I go into Shadow Lab and spell steal the Core Hound buff. And run around pulling aggro and wiping my group. No, that never happened. Definitely not. Apologies to Blue Please group in Shadow Lab. I'm very sorry. I couldn't help it. So, yeah. And he goes on to say, seems like druids were filling a hole in the TBC class makeup. There was a real shortage of tanks. If druids aren't there to fill the gap, then what? And it's like, all warriors want to go DPS. That's great. But if you're in my guild and I tell you to tank, you're going to bloody well tank, like any other sensible goddamn guild. It's like, you wonder why you're not Nihilum, or Curse, or D&T, or Risen, or any other number of fantastic guilds. Oh, I wonder. Yeah, because you're doing what you want instead of what's beneficial to the guild. Oh, good lord, what an insane idea that you have to spec into something particularly to be good at it. Wow, that is ridiculous. I am absolutely shocked by that. It's inconceivable. Absolutely ridiculous. Of course you have to spec that way. Now, I've got a lot of sympathy for hybrid classes because they have got the shaft. At least they did get the shaft.
Soul shards
back
here.
in Legacy. Yeah? And when I said Legacy, I mean the old World of Warcraft. In the Outland, they've got a whole lot of buffs. They are very, very nice. Enhancement Shamans have something of a use. Shadow Priests have something of a use. Feral Druids, Moonkin Druids, Healing Druids, you know, Druids, in my opinion, got the biggest buff of them all. But it was getting to the stage of being ridiculous. Seriously, when a hybrid starts out tanking a dedicated tank class, that is wrong. That is a game balance issue. Good lord, get this into your head. I don't hate Druids, I just hate the fact that, well, that's just stupid. I mean, why should you think that you would be able to out-tank a dedicated class? It's like a Moonkin Druid expecting to be able to out-DPS a mage. You shouldn't be able to out-DPS a mage.
Gilneas.
And the reason for it, you can shift out a Moonkin, I can't
That's
shift
funny,
out
they
a mage.
actually have a side for Gilneas.
Any opinions on that? Email the murlocs@gmail.com. I've got the last 20 minutes of the show. Good lord, we're rushing this week. Wrapping the forums coming up right now. Good lord in heaven. Check the IRC channel for the threads. And
Well, I ain't going now.
yo, faux shizzle, my naga.
I ain't gonna cross that line now, you fucking dick.
Yo-yo-yo-yo-yo-yo-yo-yo-yos. All over the place. They're all over the floor. It's a complete mess.
Not gonna happen.
This week on Rapping the Forums, dog, we have druids. Not entirely surprisingly.
Yep,
I mean,
you're gonna come back.
It sounds fantastic. It's called Please Will You Lose More Than Druid Dolls, yo, and stuff. Yeah, pretty much. It's from Zythos. He's from the Utopia Guild, and he's got an umlaut. Yes, umlaut is very ghetto. He's from Lightning Hoof, US roll. Quickfire. Yo, here we go. 2, 3, and a 4. I play about 10 hours a week. I quit once before because there was no point in playing a druid end game if you don't want to be a heal bot.
Oh, he's still over there waiting. Probably ran out of viewing stealth. Very night elf.
Just heal, not worth re-rolling. I'm leveling up to 60 again. After the release of 1.8, a friend called me about the changes, and they came back. Wow, I can get a group, but now I am no longer in the big guild. Thank God I have both here and feral, so I can get instance pucks.
Make any progress without faggots like this being around, so we're gonna have to fucking deal with it.
Yes. Is it expensive? Yes, but the rewards.
Alright, ready for the gang. Where is it?
The community was substantial. Funny welfare was viable. I don't mind healing as much.
Yeah, good job, faggot.
Healing is the only thing I can do. I just won't play. I can't count the number of times I spent 3+ hours in the cash for an insta with 4 people. Knowing we
fucking worthless faggot.
We would be okay because I can tag.
Feralist. I hope you get fucking cancer, you worthless faggot. God damn. Seriously worthless. I hope they get fucking cancer. Not even fucking joking. They deserve a painful fucking death. Worthless fucking faggots. People like that really should just fucking die. Not even joking. They should fucking die.
Most
fucking
excellent.
faggots.
Apothecary Renferrel has my utmost respect. I am anxious to study his work.
Dark Lady, watch over.
Ah, another wretched day in Tarren Mill. All of this clean air puts me in such a foul mood, adventurer. The sooner we can plague the humans here, the better. I've been conducting intense studies on possible killing agents to use in my concoctions, but I haven't the time to collect them all. If you want to make yourself of use, procure the following items for me. 10 grey bear tongues and the very rare and hard to find creeper ichor. You'll find both bears and creepers just outside of Tarren Mill.
Our time will come.
Oh, adventurer. The flowers are blooming in Hillsbrad and the air is so fresh and brisk. I can't help but to wallow in the misery of it all. I look out my grimy window and long for the day when our new plague brings this world the death it deserves. As much as I would love to sit and brood all day, my duty to the Dark Lady calls. Help me, would you? My research leads me to believe I can make the most splendid death brew with the blood of a mountain lion. Bring some to me and we'll have a little fun.
Beware the
Yeah, sure, as long as we don't come up against these alliance faggots like this again. Which we are, because they can't help but be fucking
Stand
faggots.
at attention while addressing me, adventurer. I am under direct command of Varimathras. We are to quell the human infestation until our apothecaries can develop the new plague. Our information leads us to believe that the town of Hillsbrad is vulnerable to attack. Your first assignment is aimed at disrupting their food supply and infrastructure. Travel west. Raid the northernmost farms of Hillsbrad Fields. Make sure that the landowners, Farmer Ray and Farmer Getz, are executed as well.
Yeah.
Me and some other warriors were sent by the war chief to retrieve an object from Durnhold and to investigate this so-called syndicate. We went to Durnhold to take a look around, but we were taken by surprise by a large number of the humans. We fought bravely, but their sheer numbers were enough to defeat us. They took a few of us captive, but I was able to escape. Durnhold is just southeast of here, across the river. Drool and Togathar are being held there. You must go and rescue them. Go forth to victory.
Yeah, of course this isn't voiced, because why the fuck would it be? By the authority of Lady Sylvanas, all members of the organization known as the Syndicate are wanted dead. Those brought into custody or taken prisoner will be summarily executed. They are currently known to be amassing in the ruins of Durnhold Keep to the southeast of Terran Mill. Handsome reward is offered to all who bring proof of their deeds. To High Executor Darthalia, whatever the fuck that cunt's name is. Okay, and then dangerous. The following humans of Hillsbrad has been deemed dangerous and are marked for bounty by High Executor Dumb Cunt. Clerk Horace Whitesteed, wanted for the murder of Death Guard Toma. Citizen Wilkes, wanted for the murder of Apothecary Eli. Minor Hackett, wanted for the murder of Deathstalker Fry. And Farmer Kabbalah, wanted for the ambush of supplies from the Undercity. All of these enemies are hiding and will be hard to find. A reward will be granted for their deaths and bullshit. Well, that'll be an upgrade. At least.
Can I show you what I have for sale?
Why does his voice sound like that? Okay, that's all I can do. Wonderful. And let's see. Those are the three I'll focus on in 5 fucking minutes because of that fucking faggot.
What happened to your friend?
I am forsaken.
I'm seriously considering just paying for a second account. Fuck these pieces of shit.
Equals less fun, more people quit. ... It is a vicious cycle. Reroll? Question mark? Sorry, I am not one of those people who can level back up to 65 in a couple of weeks. No way. I'm going to spend 60 to 90 days getting to 70. For one, at this point, I have looked at the numbers, comma, and comma. I'm sorry. Druids will no longer be an acceptable substitute for a rate situation. And no, it isn't just my $15 a month, and this will cost biz. I said biz. My opinion represents the same feeling as thousands of others. I hope Blizzard enjoyed the million-plus surge in membership. Over the last couple of months, they are going to be faced with a horrible backlash in the coming months. Post-edited by thoughts.
It's over 9,000.
Yo, one now. Druids need a new form. As you druids would know, if you know the restoration or balance trees at level 40, you have the option of having a whole new shapeshift to play around with, but looking more carefully at this, I realize something. The feral tree does not have its own shapeshift. Why would Blizzard leave feral out in the dark? Well, I'm not sure personally, but here's what I think should happen. Now, hear me out. Before you start clicking that post message button. At first I thought that since Downhole is upgraded at level 40, why not cat form if you spec feral? But then I thought that would be a tad predictable. So then I thought of a new animal, something swift and cunning, yet graceful and cold, holds something in its hand. And then it came to me, octopus, a druid at level 40. If the spec feral should get octopus form, how cool would that be? But the problem with that is that octopods, proper noun, are very agile on land. So I thought, what is agile on land? Motorbikes. If you put an octopus on a motorbike, you have everything covered. So I quickly opened Photoshop and made what I think octopus on motorbike form shapeshift would look like. As you can see from this artistic rendition on the druid's hand's DPS form, he sits nice and snug on top of his motorbike, which is part of the form and not put separately. And the idea works. You will notice that since octopus on a motorbike form has, as you would expect, 8 tentacles, it is able to hold the 2 main hand weapons. Since an octopus has no main tentacle, there's no need for 1 main and 7 plain swords. Also in this picture, you will notice that octopus on a motorbike has 8 different enchants on each of his swords, so he's ready for any type of fight. The radius of attack, or as like to call it, the octopane radius, is about 10 yards around octopus on a motorbike, since his tentacles are, as you can see, quite long and stretchy. Now I all know how awesome you think my shapeshift idea is, but for the sake of it, let's have an example of what octopus on a motorbike could do. You're grinding away in contested territory. You're tired, you're not paying much attention to what's going on. You're just grinding, grinding away. You hear a strange noise, one that is foreign to WoW. You shake it off as nothing and continue to kill mobs. You hear something again, and you turn your camera around to see if you can locate the source of the noise. There seems to be nothing there. You turn the camera back around to see a mix of colored enchant, sea creature, and machinery, and you're dead before you could even comprehend what just happened. And that is how I envision octopus on a motorbike. That is what the druid needs. Post-edited by Cyrega. Yo. Here's a little something that Oxhorn prepared earlier for me. It's called the Anti-Elf Anthem. Enjoy.
Of all the men of Azeroth, I must say that my least favorite race is the elf. I'd rather have lunch with a fat ogre than to spend 1 moment with an elf. I'd rather take a slime to a homie pop than to toast to an elf's health. They're tall and purple and all too skinny, and of this you must be sure that elves are the sickliest things around, and sadly there's no cure. Oh, stay away from the crooked elves that look like women and they smell like hell. So if you would take my sound advice, keep a distance of at least 10 feet. I'd rather go fishing with an Ixia than to go fishing with an elf. I'd rather go swimming with a dead murloc than boating with an ugly elf. Their voices are feminine, not resemble men, their bodies are void of hair. And so I'm sure you can understand why they give me such a scare. Oh, stay away from the crooked elves that look like women and they smell like hell. So if you would take my sound advice, keep a distance of at least 10 feet. Despite my better judgment, I once went camping with an elf. He stole my s'mores and dented my pots and made the campground smell of lavender and rosebuds, such nasty smells they leave. So I went and threw him into the lake, and then I went and had some tea. Oh, stay away from the crooked elves that look like women and they smell like hell. So if you would take my sound advice, keep a distance of at least 10 feet.
All the fun of television without those annoying pictures. From Ratchet to Winter Spring, this is WoW Radio.
Yes, another Ratchet.
Yes, indeed, folks. The action-packed show that is Blue Please here on WoW Radio with myself, Total Biscuit. Good lord. So much stuff to fit in the show, and I've got 12 minutes to do it. I still got to ask the Murloc shout-out and my ending topic for the week.
God damn
it's
it.
not even possible, not even as fast as I speak, to do all of this, but I'm gonna try it anyway. Why not? Oh, yes. Let's see what else we've got, and let's see what else we have today. I want to quickly cover some content. Very, very, very quickly, and I'm going to ask the Murlocs, and then I'm going to go straight into shout-outs in some kind of compressed manner. So let's get on with it right now. Yeah. Right, the topic. My ending topic. Feel free to email after the show all week for your opinions on this, and I'll round it up in Second Wind next week. Yes, I did just say... So, Second Wind next week will be, are we going back to the way things used to be? Is PvE endgame the inescapable fact of WoW, and is that acceptable? I mean, we're seeing right now the big content development as we expect. More big dungeons, more 25-mans, more epics, tier 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, tier 9,000. 9,000! Yes!
See if we can retard-proof myself here for a second.
Let's see what else we've got, and let's see what else we have today. I want to quickly cover some content. Very, very, very quickly, and I'm going to ask the Murlocs, and then I'm going to go straight into shout-outs in some kind of compressed manner. So let's get on with it right now. Yeah. Right, the topic. My ending topic. Feel free to email after the show all week for your opinions on this, and I'll round it up in Second Wind next week. Yes, I did just say... So, Second Wind next week will be, are we going back to the way things used to be? Is PvE endgame the inescapable fact of WoW, and is that acceptable? I mean, we're seeing right now the big content development as we expect. More big dungeons, more 25-mans, more epics, tier 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, tier 9,000. 9,000! Yes! Tier 9,000.
Oh my god, dude, so, come the fuck on!
Is that the inescapable fact? We've seen the whole thing about the arenas, and the conclusion we came to is, while it's a good stab at making PvP something permanent and worthwhile, and something sort of kind of on the level of PvE progression, you don't see people's websites going down when they go, I'm a cat, McTheridan world first, and you're Eki and you missed out on rolling on the trinket because you were too busy shouting in IRC. Good game! Indeed. So... is this the inescapable fact? Well, I'm gonna pretty much push the boat out, and I'm gonna side on the side of yes. Because that's what it's been like. Endgame, well, for the past 2 years has been raid or die. Raid or die, and this is kind of what it's becoming again. Why not? Why not? Because in my honest opinion, that's what WoW does best. Really, that is actually what WoW does best. Raiding, instances, they're all amazing. That's what people get, psyched up over. People are like, well, why do you grind this for this? It's because there needs to be a continuing challenge. You get gear from this instance to progress to the next one, to the next one, to the next one, and you can keep doing that pretty much for all eternity, and people would still do it because they love the challenge. They love the acquisition of gear. It's the essence of what an RPG is built on. It's built on the acquisition of gear and the killing of really big, nasty things. That's an RPG, in a nutshell, right there. That's what it's all about. And in my honest opinion, that's pretty much the way it's going to stay. And I think, to be quite honest, that's the way they want it to stay. And I say, good on you, Blizz, because that's what I want to see. If you want to expand PvP, then feel free, but bear in mind what kept people playing WoW for 2 years was not PvP. Generally speaking, it was PvE, endgame, instances, raiding. That's what people get excited about, that's what people get psyched up about, and that's what you spend your development time on, and rightly so. Rightly so. That's going to be my topic for next week, in Second Wind. That's what's going to happen next week, so email in over the week. If you're listening to the archives, then good game you, or you can email too. It's always good. You have been listening to Blue Please here on WoW Radio. I'm going to play Ask the Murlocs, and I'm going to shout out. So feel free to email me right now and PM me for your shout outs. TheMurloc@gmail.com is the place to email, or PM me on IRC. That's irc.mmorc.com. My name on there is TB. What appears to be some kind of dash / hyphen apostrophe type thing on the air. Just go to the # or # WoW Radio channel. Or go to our website, wcradio.com. And just before I go on to Ask the Murlocs, I must thank everyone. Blue Please is now sitting at 410 digs. Yes, 410. That's fantastic. We want more. We would love to have some more. Remember, Dig is a promotional tool and a democratic tool, so go and dig some other podcasts. You know, if they're ours or others, we don't mind. Go and dig them, because that's what it's for. If you find a good past podcast, go and dig it. Because if you don't, then the digs disappear within 2 weeks, so don't you dare just go and dig my show. Go and dig other people's, like, say, Mogarmy. Mogarmy.net. The MOG Army, fantastic podcasters, and we are promoting them right now, and they're promoting us, and we love it. We love Mog Army. They're awesome. Ask the Murlocs time, and then shout-outs coming up right now. Enjoy. Ask the Murloc. Ernest, you blurring butler buffoon, bring me the blood of the innocent. Yes, I would like a twist of lemon. No, that's a cocktail glass. Bring me the crystal champagne flute, you uncultured dolt. I tell you, it is impossible to get good minions these days, You, 2 minutes late for your appointment? Current fear, foolish mortals, for it is I, the Murloc, speaker of truths, eater of beef, and master of the panpipes. Inform anyone of that, and I'll have you flayed. Step forward, you foul-smelling one, and ask of me your question. If it does not please me, the floor will fall away beneath you, and you will meet a fiery end in what I like to call the fun house. Ask before I tire of your lack of speech. Dear Murloc, I am re-rolling my character for the Burning Crusade and want to get into a good raiding guild for Karazhan and the like. What is the most desirable class, and why? For any mere mortal, this will be an impossible question. However, for I, the Murloc, nothing is beyond my infinite wisdom. And due to class restructuring, Blizzard Entertainment announced some changes that you may be interested in. From this point on, everything is in fact a hunter weapon. This includes cloth plus damage gear, healing plate, and wands with more than 7 stamina. As such, a hunter is clearly the most useful class, able to fulfill the role of a main tank and healer simultaneously with very little loss in DPS. You may also wish to consider running a warrior, since I hear they have been buffed in every patch since launch. Logic dictates, therefore, by the degree of the Murloc, that by this point a warrior, if aided by a hunter's pet, can in fact solo Nefarian. Sadly, druids have not been so lucky, and due to recent druid nerfs, the class has in fact been renamed Pet. Hunters will now be able to acquire their very own druid to feed, love, and cherish. The only healing spell that now affects druids is Mend Pet, and if they are not regularly fed with boar meat, they will run away, crying emo tears. Ha ha!
Ask the Murloc.
Yes, I see. I in fact soloed a 5-man arena yesterday. How did I do that, you ask? It is a secret. Thou shalt never pry into the arcane ways of the Murloc. What? Money? Yes, give me lots of money. Yes, the strategy. Well, in order to win the arena, simply construct a Cybran experimental robot and level the entire complex, including any surrounding civilian structures. However, you may find that the townspeople may not like this and will set about your robot with torches and pitchforks. And while it is capable of mass genocide, it may eventually fall to their combined arms. At which point I would suggest you use a hunter and cast Mend Pet on your druid, allowing it to survive the inevitable thermonuclear blast. At which point the druid will be able to DPS down any remaining opposition. However, due to recent patch nerfs, this will take approximately 3 weeks when raid buffed. What? More? No, you've wasted enough of my time, you piffling peasants. Get out before I cry havoc and let slip the dogs of war. What do you mean they escaped? Impounded? Inconceivable! Well, what about the dogs of minor border skirmish? The hounds of barroom brawl? The canines of small playground scuffle? All of them? No! Damn you, Sweden!
Ask the Murloc.
Good Lord in heaven, I have 4 minutes until I switch over and get Octel and Hordak on the air. Shout-out time, shout-outs right now. I have PMs abound. PMs abound indeed. Octel, are you there? You are there, Octel. Sorry, can you be more clear for our listeners? Are you in fact there, Octel?
Oh my goodness, I am here.
Yes, you are indeed here. You're going to be on air in 3 minutes, aren't you? Brilliant, fantastic. Right, shout-out time. Okay, let's get on with the shout-outs. Incoming shout-outs from Zop, who is shouting out to... He is indeed shouting out to Eternal Corpse Council, who are leaving Mazugo to go to Veknelesh. I sent an email, but I think I sent it to the wrong address. Indeed. Shout-out to the nuclear power forums and tell Rick to get off his lazy ass and make the next Just Another Quest comic. That's some major blood. Giving a shout out to the Blade Order, Ally Guild on Daggerspine EU. Brilliant. Say hi to Blue Please from me. That's from Naga. My guild Blue Please made of the win. A new racial for female Tauren, create ice cold milk. What do Murlocs have against Sweden? Sweden is just evil. Shout out to Fade to Black on Card Guy US for having tons of 70s. I'm sure we'll be doing the 25-man soon, including the Temple of Doom or whatever it's called. Temple of Doom. Indiana Jones is the final raid boss. That's from Saurian. Metallicut says, I want to give a shout out to T-Tut for dinging 54, Red Dead Flame for dinging 61, and Shattered Halls EU. That's from Ganya. Can I shout out to Seren on Twisting Nether US? Apparently elves are not made of as much winners gnomes. Indeed not. I'd like to request a shout out to all of Ye Olde Goon Squad on VentureCo EU, especially to the Chief Pastamancer Neris. Shout out to 3 people. Morton from Sunderland and his huge appetite for pie. A shout out to Lloyd, also from Sunderland, and his sailor friends. They disgust me. And last but not least, Tane from Hartlepool and his giant mole. That's from Squizzair EU. Let's see what else we've got in my email box of absolute total win. Pressing the button. Good God in heaven. You people, too many of you. Please give a shout out to Kittiao Tullivan EU, a long-time RL friend of the fool that introduced me to WoW and has now run off to London for a brand new job. Enjoy. That's from Everlix, level 70 priest of Teddy Bears of Doom on Shadow Song EU. A shout out goes to Gugid for having to reinstall WoW and be forced to listen to WoW Radio Cry. There was some guy, I can't remember what his name was, it was like Valentino or Valley something or other on Mazigo who's asking for a shout. I can't remember your name, but you're getting a shout out anyway. I hope you know who you are. A shout out to Furlish. Let's see. Yeah, Furlish and fellow members of Ashara on Dune Mall. That's from Furlish at Dune Mall. A shout out also must go apparently to me and the whole WoW Radio crew from Rasputin on Dark Sorrow EU, and a shout out to my new guild, what's that? Siverence. And of course, shout out to Akfanel, Undead Tauren, Karagar, Azeron and his mighty Gankers, and Dr. Ponage, now also known as Cliché, the mighty level 30 Belfodin. P.S. TB, your gear sucks. What's wrong with my gear? Just because I paid 150 DKP for the Gem of Nerubis does not make me a noob. The Gem of Nerubis, as it's called. A shout out to Xenia from Shadow Hall EU for being as fluffy as a cookie. That's from Variel on Defiance. But a special shout out to Dawes because he is German. Yes, he is German. A shout out to Fallen Legion Guild on Draenor EU, and that is all the time that I've got. Listen to the archives. Check out the shows on WCRadio.com. Subscribe to my podcast and all that good stuff. Missed any part of the show? Download the archive. You've been listening to Blue Police. I've been Total Biscuit. I'm about to collapse sideways on the floor in a drooling heap. Thank you for listening. Octel and Horde coming up right after this. Enjoy.
Far away. I can't cast it. Still recharging. That spell isn't ready yet.
That's over with. What the fuck else can I just listen to? Okay, show more doesn't want to show more. Fuck it.
Start of this show in second wind. Yes!
Second wind!
No gnomes were harmed much in the making of that dropping. Right, okay, I had a nice email, very long email actually, from a Mr. Tom Wink. Yes. And he says this. I'm going to pick bits and pieces out because this is huge, absolutely huge email. Bear this in mind. Second Wind likes your opinion, so feel free to email themurloc@gmail.com with the Second Wind topic or anything else that happens to be going on this week in Blue Please. So here we go. He says this. This is entirely my opinion. So that being said, let me remind you before we go on with just what we talked about in last week's Second Wind. Last week's Second Wind, the topic was, are we returning to the old-style endgame? And if so, is that acceptable? And here's his opinion on that. He says, this is entirely my opinion. I believe that raiding will always continue to be the most prestigious activity in WoW, and PvP accomplishments will never meet that. The reason is simple, and the fact that PvP is fundamentally easier to accomplish because it is an individual accomplishment. You don't need a good guild or even a guild at all to do well at PvP. Sure, pre-formed groups may do very well and may very well be the way to go, but even in that instance, a pre-formed Warzone Gulch group is no greater an accomplishment than a guild Skolo run. Let's face it, running Skolo or Shadow Labyrinth, etc. is not a guild accomplishment. You may run it better with a group of guildies, but then you should. It's a given, not an accomplishment. And he says this, PvP loot suffers from preconceptions that can be attached to the person wearing it. 1. Your PvP loot tells me that you haven't acquired better via raiding. Sad but true. No counsel of your peers gives you your PvP loot. Good raid loot is not only sometimes or often better, but you can only obtain it via the consent of your peers. As in, he's talking about DKP, loot council, that kind of thing. Which says a lot to the value of the player that you actually are. He also says, it doesn't tell me that you're a person who is tolerable to be around. The validation of membership in an accomplished raiding guild can tell otherwise. A person can be kicked from a raid for being a lazy douche, but cannot be kicked out of a battleground for it. It doesn't tell me necessarily that you have the know-how to function as part of a team. All the PvP epics in the world can't assure me that you're not going to wipe my 5-man group like a noob. It doesn't even tell me you're particularly good at PvP, and to be honest, I don't even particularly care if you're good at PvP. And he also says, if you're in a raiding guild, it tells me that you, perhaps, are not serious about raiding, and probably neglect your responsibilities towards the success of the raid outside of raid time. That means gathering the materials needed for consumables and the like. Sure, it's tedious, but a dedicated teammate does it anyway, rather than queuing up for battlegrounds, so often that they've obtained epic loot from it. We all know these people, the ones who complain about not having money for repairs and don't come on time to raids with their own resist pots, etc., etc. That's an interesting point. He also has a couple of fundamental truths for people about raiding versus PvP, or why raiding is actually harder. He says raiding requires more time invested. Some folks will likely disagree, but let's face it, folks who can go far in raiding live and breathe it during the inside and outside of raid time, and the amount of time required never ends. Even the hardest PvP rank or rep on a grind would eventually end. Raiding requires a large team, PvP does not, even in instances where a team is required for PvP. Any schmuck can scrape together the minimal number of friends required to do it. It's not so easy to do so in raiding, and apparently raiding is also very dependent upon guild health. Guilds are hard to hold together. They can fall apart at almost any time for an unforeseeable number of reasons. In which case, your personal raid progression is immediately in jeopardy. Few, if any, people have ever been truly derailed from their PvP goals because their guild was experiencing problems. No one has ever said, oh crap, 20 people just left the guild, I guess we can't PvP anymore. Yeah. Good points, all of them. He's basically saying that while there's been some changes to PvP, and the whole WoW Arena Season 1 will probably be a relatively big thing, it's nowhere near as big as raid progression, and they're also not your average folks. It's interesting, actually, that people always argue PvP is an alternative to raiding because, hey, anyone can do that. Well, yeah, anyone can do that, but to actually be well-known, you know, for PvP, especially with the new arena system, it's going to be a case of you've got to be not so much subhuman, but superhuman in your dedication to it, and the way that your team is cohesive and all that kind of thing. These aren't your average players either. Your average player is not going to win the season, and they're not even going to get through the qualifiers. I know I'm not going to get through the qualifiers. I suck at PvP. I'm 61 point arcane. I'm spec for PvE. My gear is almost purely plus hit. I'm spec for heroics. I'm spec for raiding. I'm spec for mana efficiency. I'm not spec to deal with PvP, especially not 2v2s, which is why I lose more matches than I win. But again, I just do it for a little bit of a laugh, and I wouldn't mind a little bit of the gear if I can get it. But again, that makes me a nobody. Even on your own realms, if you've at least progressed somewhere in raiding, it does make you somebody. Most realms have a progress thread. They do not have a who is ranked 14 thread or who has this piece of PvP gear thread. They never did. And they most likely never will. And that's the thing. It's been here since day one. PvP has always been a metagame. It's always been a bit of a joke in comparison to raiding. And even if they do introduce this new stuff, we're getting back to the way we were before. The new content is raid content. It is. Have a look at it. Black Temple is your next big content patch. And what's there? Oh, yeah, it's a raid. It's a 25-man raid, hopefully incredibly difficult and will last a long, long time. Difficulty is something we're going to come on to a little bit later in the show with another topic. However, for the moment, what else is coming out? Zulaman. It's apparently, if I remember correctly, a 10-man troll instance. In other words, it's pretty much a upgraded Zul'Gurub. That's not necessarily a bad thing. Troll instances are usually rather amusing. But here we go, we're back to endgame. This is just how it works, and is that acceptable? That's the question. Is it acceptable? Is it something that we can live with? Well, let's face it, people are still playing the game. Yeah? They really are still playing the game. And why are they playing? They're certainly not playing to grind 60 to 70. They want to see what's at the end of the rainbow. They want the pot of gold. They want Slanic's pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Of course they do. What else is there? What's the point in progression otherwise? What's the point in going forward from stage to stage to stage, from level to level to level, from grind to grind, from instance to instance?
The Ichor was fucking
the point
rare.
is to get the gear in order to
Trying
rate
to find
something
a bear
better.
with a tongue.
And it goes on and on and on. And can it be sustained? Hell yes, it
Fucking
can be
impossible.
sustained. It's been sustained for 2 years already. People get excited about this kind of thing. People get thrilled about it. They like to see how far Nihilum, D&T, Curse, and all those other number of Uber guilds are actually progressing. They get hyped up about it. There's even national pride over it. US versus EU. EU versus Korea. Korea versus US. All that kind of thing. Loads of things that actually center around PvE endgame and not around PvP. And I said, we said so last week on the show that the conclusion was, while arenas are a step in the right direction, probably the only thing that Blizzard now can do to turn PvP into something as significant as PvE without going for a fully blown, completely new realm versus realm style system in the same style as Dark Age of Camelot or Warhammer Online. That's all it can do. The arena system, the seasons, turning it into a glorified sport, which is okay, but again, it's just another mini-game. That's the problem. And I think that's really what people are going to view it as for a very, very long time. And I'd say that the hardcore PvPers are most certainly in the minority in the comparison to hardcore PvEers. Now, that's just always the way it's been, on a PvP server or on a PvE server. When we started off, PvP was nothing. Absolutely nothing. There was nothing there. Literally, it was just, hey, somebody, let's gank it. I don't gain anything from it. Heck, even in the manual it said something about the honor system, but there never was an honor system. It wasn't implemented for a while. And by that point, people were getting interested in, well, what's beyond level 60? What can we do? Hey, a big dragon called Onyxia. Let's try and take that down. Oh, look, the Molten Core. That sounds good. Let's go and do that. Even UBRS, for God's sake, when it used to be difficult. People got thrilled about that. Oh, I can get my dungeon set 1. I can get my tier 0 gear. That's really thrilling. In the same way that, even to some degree now, it's gone full circle and gone right back to where it was before. Ooh, my dungeon set 3. And then, of course, onto my tier 4, as it was onto my tier 1 when Molten Core was out, and then your tier 2 and your 2.5. Gear progression through PvE progress.
I'm out of range.
Now, there isn't a massive amount of difference in comparison to what they used to be, by any stretch of the imagination. There isn't. Look at it. Just look at how it works. It's the same thing, but there have been a little more subtle changes made in the way that they've decided to release a whole bunch of content at once in comparison to before, when of course no one was level 60. Well, why release all this new content if no one's going to be playing it? Right now it's a case of there's quite a bit. If you're sitting from, say, the standpoint that my guild Blue Please is sitting on, we're sitting on the standpoint right now we're keying up for Heroics, because we believe Heroics have some nice gear. I like my full Mana Etch set because it's great for my spec. We would like to get some raid cohesion going. We'd like to get some of those Badge of Justice gear. It's really, really tasty. And, of course, there's the epic gems, some of the epic loot in there. And it's good practice, because you've got to be really cohesive as a group. And then we're going Karazhan. Okay, then we're going Karazhan. We'll wipe our way through Karazhan and eventually beat Karazhan. Then what do we got? Well, the logical progression on from that is Gruul's Lair. So we take Gruul's Lair, and then perhaps we take Mount Theridon. Then we might take Serpent Shrine. And then, of course, we might take the Eye. By that point, we've got a 25-man out. Hell, probably by that point, we'll have Zulaman and any number of other things out. That's the standpoint of a guild that's been set up to start going through Burning Crusade content from the very get-go. It's not an established raiding guild pre-expansion, but that's just the way it was going. And if you look at it from that perspective, compared to what you were doing before, when that was the same, you know, you had established a guild for legacy content, and you hadn't raided before, so you went through Scholarmance, you went through Stratum, you went through LBRS, UBRS, and then Diamond when that was released. Then what did you do?
Decent.
You went and took Onyxia down, you went for Molten Core, and then of course when Zul'Gurub came out, you went in there as well. Zul'Gurub, of course, probably released at the wrong time, but, you know, that's the benefit of hindsight, isn't it? Usually you'd have something like that to start us off with, and this time we've got Karazhan. Karazhan is your Zul'Gurub, in my honest opinion, this time around. And then after Karazhan, you've got your 25-mans, and it's interesting because there is no massive long instance like Molten Core just yet, but that doesn't mean there won't be in the future. The Black Temple could effectively be the Molten Core this time around, and this is when Molten Core, of course, was difficult. Black Temple, no doubt, will be difficult at this point in time, but then maybe 2 years on, we'll look back and say, oh, the Black Temple, you can pug that. The next expansion, we can have people going 10-manning it. You know, we did yesterday, went in 5-man Bloodlord Mandakir. I used to remember when we used to wipe on that when the Zul'Gurub was first released. So, you see this kind of infinite cycle of raid progression going on and on and on, but you never see anything like that in PvP. PvP has always been a little bit stagnant. It's never really moved on in that respect. It's not like you can go from Warsong Gulch through to Arachne Basin through to Alterac Valley and say that that's progression. It's not progression. It's instant gratification. It's grinding honor to get some gear that is not really as good as raiding gear. That's the way it is. And that's probably the way it's always going to be, because PvP is less difficult than raiding. Why? Because you don't need a huge bloody guild to do it, and you don't need to dedicate as much time to it. Sorry, PvPers, I PvP as well. I'm not especially good at it. I used to be alright at it when I was spec for PvP, but no, I don't believe that PvP is ever going to be matched up to PvE, and I can see that the PvE endgame is going to be the thing. It really is. It's going to be the in thing for a very, very...
Okay.
What now? These specimens are perfect. Well, adventurer, you have managed to bring me the slightest hint of joy on yet another miserable day. Your efforts are appreciated.
It will take but a moment for me to mix these components into what I have deemed an elixir of suffering. There we go. Ah, nothing brightens a gloomy day in these miserable foothills like bringing a little suffering into the world.
Let us see if our little potion has achieved its desired effect. Give my assistant Umpi a taste of what the Dark Lady has planned for both humans and Scourge alike.
Croak. And Umpi croaked.
I'm listening.
What a bitch.
Another interruption. How am I supposed...
Alright.
Very long time. You listen to Biscuit here on WoW Radio with Subtotal Biscuit. If you want to email your opinions, themurloc@gmail.com is the place to be. After the break, we shall be talking about...
Don't know why
new
Roddy
content
Bear
and the armory.
art considered
Interesting things.
trash.
However, I have an epic Noobcake news for you right now.
Somebody
Enjoy.
fucked up making this mod.
Noobcake news. Stop that. Welcome to this week's edition of Noobcake News. Coming up later in the show, an exclusive look at the second expansion for World of Warcraft, including such innovations as an increased level cap, white quality items with 9,000 stamina, and a forest of mushrooms. But first, the worldwide community as a whole, including those who do not play World of Warcraft, have been up in arms over the latest feature to hit the World of Warcraft internet, the Armory. Players call it an invasion of privacy,
on
a
call
Big Brother style
fucking
spy
retard
tool,
made that.
the internet equivalent of a skateboarding otter. Quite obviously, all these statements are true, so we decided to attempt to reach Blizzard for a comment. Our correspondent was sent back in pieces, apparently covered in cheese, with a note reading,
You'll be told
"Nerf
when
this,
you're
Blizzard."
ready.
I mean, yeah, don't mess with Blizzard. Blizzard. Tony, WTF are you doing? This is what all the cool kids are saying on the forums. It'll appeal to the masses. But it's got nothing to do with the flayed cheese-covered reporter. Well, if you're so smart, you write something. Fine, fine. Dear Murloc,
We'll go down.
how can we speed up
these
our
two.
website? We at Noobcake News were pleased with the cheese-covered reporter.
Yeah,
With a
see
few
where
added
that
herbs
leads
and a bit of reheating, he went down quite nicely. This time, however, we decided to send stealth reporter Sam Angler into Blizzard HQ, where, from his vantage point stuck to the ceiling, he was able to record a Blizzard concept design meeting between lead designer Tigol and Fura, whom we assume to be the janitor or something.
Ugh.
Fura, you nubstick, wake up!
What? Who? Where the hell am I?
You're in the design room, codenamed the Fortress of Solitude, because this is where we came up with our one solitary original idea, meeting stones.
But why am I even here?
Because the entire design team is off sick. Food poisoning, something about a cheese-coated dwarf with a microphone. Don't ask me what those peons eat, disgusting creatures.
But I don't have any experience designing MMOs.
Since when do you need experience to do that? Oh wait, it's time to spin the wheel of infinite mystery and see what design decision we have to make this week. Nerf druids? Check. Nobody likes those hybrid classes anyway.
Wait a minute. This is how you make important decisions about the game?
Well, duh. What did you expect? Random rolls? DKP? Please. So pre-expansion.
Good point, I suppose, but still, I don't understand why you dragged me down here.
Isn't it obvious? We're looking to innovate the MMORPG genre by coming up with new and original ideas. And I need someone to nod and agree with everything I say.
And what will exactly happen if I don't?
We'll put you back in the box.
I'll be good.
This week we came up with something no one had ever done before, the Armory, which allows players to see what other players had for breakfast and what color underwear they're wearing. However, it turns out that some site called CT Profiles has already copied the idea and has sabotaged our website so that no one can actually use our lovely Armory without waiting 12 hours to load the page. Inconceivable. But we are Blizzard, and we will not give up so easily. Now, I have this idea. To appeal to the emerging female market, to add female character models into World of Warcraft. It's a surefire winner.
Well, wait a second. Don't we already have those?
No. Those are male blood elves, silly. Easy mistake to make, though, I guess. Here, why don't I get you a drink?
This beverage is green. I'm not really sure I want to drink this.
Get with the times. The green beverage is better than 4 purple ones put together. Expansion, hello. Your legacy drinks are a thing of the past.
I suppose.
Besides, you guys could use more stamina anyway. Now, where was I? I had this idea. In a future content patch, we could make it so that players could actually leave their spaceships and explore the many stations in the universe.
But we don't even have spaceships or space stations. And besides, didn't EVE Online already do that?
Adam Online, darling. EVE is for girls. Besides, they'll never manage it anyway. How are they supposed to implement spaceships into a fantasy MMO?
But Tigol, it's a freeform sci-fi capital...
Nonsense. They have kobolds just like we do. Note to self. Add spaceships to the game. Allow players to craft their own and fly off of Azeroth to other worlds and engage in Twitch-based combat with gnomes. But only gnomes. I hate gnomes.
Whoa. Hang on there for a moment. Twitch-based combat? Are you mad, woman? This is an MMO, not counter-suck.
Counter-suck? That's hilarious. I shall have to use that one at our next party. So, I heard that WoW was not considered hardcore enough for the MMO community. I have a new and original idea to help combat this.
Oh, this should be good.
We must increase the amount of XP required to level. I think a multiplier of 20 should suffice.
What would that accomplish? Isn't everyone already 70?
60, darling. The expansion hasn't been released yet.
But...
No buts, darling. The expansion will be huge when we release it in January. We will sell at least 100,000 copies.
But it's already March.
Nonsense. The calendar revolves around Blizzard
It's not like we really do.
We must make this expansion as successful as StarCraft
I can't
goes.
eat those yet. That's gonna be fucking nice.
Silence, Whelp. I hired you as a designer, not a blithering dolt who makes decisions at random. Now,
Sicario.
I've been thinking about the Druid
Nice.
epic flying form.
Awesome,
I've been
dude.
concerned about balance issues.
Yes. Players have been complaining that the Druid already got a mount at 68 for free,
Really
and then
see that
adding
happen?
an epic version would be ludicrous.
Exactly, which is why I came up with a new and original idea. Dual plasma cannons.
Oh no.
Dual what? plasma, but everyone else is fighting with rudimentary flintlock firearms and bladed weaponry.
Which is why it's so new and original.
Why?
No one will ever think to put such a thing into our sci-fi MMO. We already innovated by having melee combat in our massively multiplayer first-person shooter World of Warcraft. Why stop now?
Huh?
Dual plasma cannons are the way back to our roots, while innovating in the process.
Don't you think the players might have
jailer
some issues and
enslaved me?
concerns as to the balance implications
Huh?
of wing-mounted weapons of mass
Oh,
destruction
these fucking
based on
faggot
technology
developers.
that doesn't
Are you
even exist
serious?
yet?
Yes, I had considered that, which is why we're going to mount them in the eyes
God,
instead.
dude.
WT.
Blizzards are some big
Dual
fucking
plasma eye
faggots.
lasers. A first for any sports game.
They
It'll
can't
sell
fucking do
hundreds.
anything right.
You may have
Holy
hired the wrong
shit.
guy for the job, I'm afraid, Tiggle. I'm going to go back and sweep up the mess that Fangtooth made on the carpet. You'd think that man had no class.
That was
Do come back
retarded
again
as
soon, darling.
fuck.
We can discuss some new changes I'll be implementing soon for the warrior class. Barrel rolls.
Oh my
Right,
god.
yes. Bye, Tiggle.
Bye, Fangtooth.
Fura.
Jim.
Ah, very interesting stuff. This brings me renewed faith in Blizzard Entertainment's design process. The future is surely bright. This has been
God
Update News.
damn.
Good night. The forthcoming song may have swear words in it. If you do not like that and themes of piracy, then please tune out for the next 3 minutes. This is Captain Dan's Scurvy Crew. Mutiny!
Captain Dan, shouldn't we go back to port? Back to port? Who do you think is running this ship, you scurvy sea dog? Well, we've been sailing for over 10,000 days. Come over here and I'll kill you on the spot. When you're on the high seas and your crew throws a fit, to head for the shores, what you gonna do? When there's mutiny aboard and their crew draws their swords, they say they wanna win, but they can't do shit. I'm a real pirate, Yonko, Yonko. I'm a real pirate, Yonko, Yonko. I'm gonna kill you with my shank, making you walk the plank. I'm gonna guys a rep your man. It was 10 years ago the chasing my show. I'll never know how many last year on the back end exposed. The women didn't beat it, the whole crew was cheated. The shares of the weird sad state of affairs. They don't really take values to follow me blindly. Y'all ganged up just to sell it right now. How many months have been since me and seen our kid? I don't care, you lovers don't get under my skin. Now I'm never looking like it's your mother. She a whale set sail on the back of a rudder. Can we get her journey on the live and cover the stones? Lead to the treasure map of Davy Jones. If it's so easy to feed me, then come on, try to beat me. Hit you in the face with my Canada race. You're a true disgrace and you're out of your place. This ship is a ship that nobody takes. When you're on the high seas and your crew throws a fit, to head for the shores, what you gonna do? When there's mutiny aboard and your crew draws their swords, they say they wanna win, but they can't do shit. So you haven't fed your crew for 100 days. Kept them killing, even on the holidays. The victim of a hurricane. So fewer than remain, alive to complain. In the cactus like just been a beach in the
Fucking idiot.
Cause that crew is a starving or wants a fair share. You got to show them who's boss before it's off for two. For them to stab you, drown you, or leave you maroon. When you're on the high seas and your crew throws a fit, you head for the shores, what you gonna do? When there's mutiny aboard and your crew draws their swords, they say they wanna win, but they can't do shit. I'm a real pirate, young foe, young foe. I'm a real pirate, young foe, young foe. I'm gonna kill you with my shank, making you walk the plank. I'll cut off your hand as a reprimand.
All the fun of television without those annoying pictures. From Ratchet to Winter Spring, this is WoW Radio.
Alright. Okay, I hope that asshole respawn down there.
Oh, yes, the mighty sounds of Captain Dan.
Yeah, the dude I
Here on
actually
Blue
need to
Please,
get
this is
to.
Toll Biscuit, this is WoW Radio. Captain Dan, myspace.com/Captain Dan. The rest of the music in the show, aside from one particular track, as requested by Spirit Wolf, will in fact be Captain Dan. Check out their MySpace, myspace.com/Captain Dan. Buy their CDs, and I'm giving you the opportunity to win.
I know that one I can sell.
Captain Dan albums today. I have quite a few Captain Dan albums sitting on my floor, as well as a couple of copies of some of their side projects, which consist of KMFDN style metal and some crazy ambient stuff. I was very impressed with all of it, quite frankly. So I am going to give you the opportunity to win the stuff, courtesy of Captain Dan and Non-Existent Records. And I'm calling the contest, Where is the RP? So where is the RP? That's the question. What do you have to do to win? Very, very, very simple.
Okay, what's the...
You have until next week to
fine.
send me your best pirate impression.
Gonna come down here?
Your best pirate impression. Send it in as a WAV, an MP3, a .org, whatever the heck you like, but you've got to record it and send it over to themurloc@gmail.com and email it under the title, Where is to RP? I don't care about the spelling, but yeah. So, where is to RP? That is the question. My pirate impression's terrible. Yours could be better, and as a result, you could win. Win big, I say. So, go, go, go. Right, okay. Bit of a shout-out must go out to, of course, dig.com and their amazing promotional tools. You can promote us using dig.com if you go to our shows page and you register for dig.com. It takes all the 20 seconds and click dig. Now, some people have wondered, so why have our dig amounts gone down? And the reason is this. If you dig and then don't dig anything for 2 weeks, your digs not so much disappear, but they don't count towards anything. So if you've dug and you think your dig has disappeared, then go back to dig and dig one of our shows. Doesn't matter which. Just go to... click the podcast feed, and there's loads of shows. You can individually dig the shows. Click on your favourite, or dig something else that you like. Either way, that's the best way to use it. So, dig.com, and check out our shows page at wcradio.com/shows, if I remember correctly. Check it out. Right, okay. Let's get back on topic, shall we? I have new content. As you may have heard, there is something called the Armory. Yes, the Armory. Now, some people are arguing that it's amazing. Some people are in fact arguing that it's over 9,000. Yes, they think it's amazing. Some people don't. Some people hate it. Some people think it's, oh my god, invasion of privacy. Now, I have my own opinions on this, which is what you're going to get right now. The Spirit Wolf interview is coming up right after the segment, but right now I'm going to tell you what I think of the Armory. It's a difficult decision to make, because initially when I saw the release of the Armory, I thought, good lord, this is made of lose, and the result was clear. Since the release of the Armory, the amount of fanboys that I've had contacting me, now there's nothing wrong with fans, it's just the fanboys that pester you and stalk you on your server that are really getting on my nerves. So, I've had a lot of them contact me and it's like, oh my god, TB, why are you 61 arcane spec? Someone even actually created a thread about this, and it was horrible. It's like, why are you 61 arcane spec? Why do you only have 3 in vision? Why do you have this gear? Why do you still use Nax gear when you could be using this gear? Why do you do this, and this, and this, and this? Leave me alone, for the love of God and all that is holy. And of course, it's not optional, and there's your big kicker. It ain't optional. The Armory is nice. I mean, the actual coding behind it is great. It looks nice. As a utility, as a official WoW profiler, it's great, except for the fact that I can't opt out of it. Now, that's what I would like. I would like the option to opt out of it. Now, you're going to argue, well, you don't have any privacy because Blizzard owns your character. Yeah, you're right. Blizzard does own my character. But they also have the choice of what to do with it. If they wished, they could remove all of its items and sell it on eBay. But they don't do that, do they? Because it would annoy me, and it would annoy the community. And again, you're implementing something that is forced upon someone when you're used to something else, yeah? Since the dawn of World of Warcraft, we're used to having profiler sites that you can optionally put your stuff on. And if you don't put it on there, cool, that's great, because you don't want your stuff to be splashed all over the internet for whatever reason. It doesn't really matter what reason, it's an individual choice. You know, I'm not particularly ashamed of my gear. I think it's damn good for the level that it is. It's really quite nice. It's good choice gear to have. However, that doesn't necessarily mean that I want it thrown all over the internet and linked all over the place and say, well, hey, look at this guy's gear. Look at him, look at him, look at it. Well, yeah, I don't want that because I'm used to having the option. Yeah, and that's what it is. It's about giving people the choice. Now, I would argue that a community in itself is, of course, your realm. A realm is a community within itself. It's a microcosm, or in fact a macrocosm of the WoW community inside a little bubble on its own, and I like it that way, you know? I really do like it that way. People on my server, yeah, they can view my gear. That's cool. They can't view my spec, and we're going to come on to that in a little bit, but they can view my gear. They can have a look. If they're on the same side, they can view my gear. That's cool. They can talk to me. That's also cool. But I'm not displaying it for the world to see. No, no, no. Absolutely not. Now, I would argue that, of course, a realm is a community within itself, and as such, there should be certain things that you can only do if you're part
Or
of that
whatever the
community,
fuck that
like
last
inspecting
thing
people's
is.
gear. To make characters worldwide is a little bit of a misnomer, in my opinion. It's not a worldwide thing. It's the same copy of the game on multiple different servers, and servers are within themselves their own community. The wider I can't even say it. The wider WoW community, try saying that after 3 pickled onions and a pint of Jack, is difficult to describe because it's not really a community as such. It's just a big ball of fluff. That effectively is all it is. It's a lot of people who have got involved in this big snowballing effect of WoW, and they claim to be part of the WoW community, but what is the WoW community in general? It, in my opinion, just doesn't exist. It's just a big collection of people and a lot of fragmented little user groups. And that's cool, because I would rather have... Let's make a stupid analogy that you will never forgive me for. I would rather have WoW being a giant tree of a community with many branches and twigs, rather than a turnip, which is all stuffed together under the ground in one place. So yeah, I'd rather WoW be a tree than a turnip. That's probably the most profound thing and stupid thing that I've ever said in my life. But there you go. So, I would argue that point. Now, there are other things that you need to consider, like, for instance, what now for CT Profilers, RPG Outfitter, and a number of other reputable profiling sites? Well, the answer is, well, nothing, because they've pretty much been killed. People would argue that, hey, well, they have this feature and this feature. Well, have a look at it this way, yeah? What if Blizzard launched, say, an official radio station of their own that was available in-game? Now, no matter what the quality of that might be, say, it could be 300 times worse than WoW Radio is right now. It could have a DJ that is a complete moron, and people would listen to it more than they would to this station. Why? Because it's easy access. It's built in, and it's Blizzard approved. Oh, yes, official. We've seen it before with various features of the site. People will start using that. We've also seen it before with the whole bringing in of mods and integrating mods into the game. That's something interesting to talk about and something interesting to perhaps worry about. When Blizzard takes a mod and integrates it into the game, does that mod die off? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Now, most of the time, the mod that Blizzard implements is not quite as good, but people will use it an awful lot. The popularity of the mod will certainly take a hit. Some mods pretty much, will get killed off altogether. Some mods become pointless. Some mods become unsupported. But then again, a mod maker can always go on and do something else, and often a mod maker has made more than one mod, and that's cool, or they can progress their things in other ways, and they've already got an established user base. But they're not one-trick ponies, like, say, CT Profile. People will argue that CT Profile has various different options, like the ability to have your wish lists and your other sets of gear. Well, that's nice, but then again, it doesn't have immediate access to the database that Blizzard has, and it's not on the website. And it doesn't look as shiny, and people do like shiny looks. Let's face it, the armory does look very, very good. So that's a bit of a kick in the teeth, in my opinion, to fan sites that have actually stuck with the game from day one. Now, you might say that, hey, it's an honour for these sites to get integrated. Well, yeah, I'm sure it is an honour, except for the fact that that's what their site's based on. And it will most likely wither and die as a result. Because who would use it when you've got instant access to the armory? The armory's updated without you having to make any effort to update it. The armory is 100% legit, as in you can't fake gear on it. The spec comes up, your gear comes up, you can't fake it. It's there, right? And that's really, really important, because people value that. And here is, in my opinion, one of the good things about the armory. The armory, of course, gives you access to information which is legit. At least it's a little bit lag behind, but it's legit. Which means if you want to check up on people for guild recruitment or even pug recruitment, that's great. But then again, look at it from the flip side. You can inspect people who you're up against in PvP. Surely that takes away a little bit of the mystery and a little bit of, well, I'm not going to say skill, but the requisite knowledge to actually determine what people expect just by seeing what they do and observing their actions and learning from them. Now, surely that is an element to the game. That's a very important element to the game. It always has been, always will be, in my honest opinion. But now, how long is it before someone manages to either create a mod or someone manages to create a parser, which makes it a lot easier to hunt down this information, to the degree of you might be able to look it up very quickly in a battleground or perhaps even an arena. If you're really, really fast, you just have one person dedicated to quick, hey, what's he got, what's he got, what's he got? you might not necessarily know who you're up against, but then again, what happens when it gets to the stage of being, right, now we're dealing with the regionals, and we're dealing with the more serious PvP, and you can check out what your opponents have done. The interesting thing is that Blizzard are actually using that as a marketing tool. They're saying, hey, look at your opponents. And that's like, well, why? Why would you want to do that? Surely the whole idea is you're not supposed to know what your opponent's got until he hits you in the face with it. I'm not keen on that. I'm not keen on everyone knowing what everyone else has got. I think that detracts significantly from the PvP experience. It really, really does. Sure, if a fixed team's going to go in over and over and over again, wearing the same gear and using the same tricks and tactics, people will learn from it. But learning is something which is, again, important to all the Warcraft. It always has been. Learning encounters, learning how to do this, learning how to do that. But you're just removing an element of that. It's like saying that you are knowledgeable. So it's like saying you're going into an exam with the answers already in your hand. You don't know the answers, you just happen to have a piece of paper with them written on. It didn't require you any particular knowledge or work ethic or effort to acquire that information. Absolutely not, and that is a killer in my opinion. That can be a real killer. So yeah, I mean, my personal opinion of the Armory, while the principle is nice, the fact that they implemented it without an opt-out feature and seem to have implemented it without any care in the world as to the effect it's going to have on multiple profiling fan sites is not a good thing, in my opinion. Now, you know, for Alakazam profiles, I don't give a damn. They're owned by gold farmers. Who cares? What about the smaller and more reputable sites? What's going to happen to them, especially bearing in mind that some sites, say like RPG Outfitter, is a one-trick pony. That's what they've got, that's what they do, and that's what they do very, very well. And now, well, you apparently can't do that. At least you can, but no one's going to use it. Of course no one's going to use it. It's far too easy to use these Armory links. And of course, once their website gets back up to speed, there'll be no reason not to use it. So I'm not a big fan, to be quite honest, for that reason. The solution? Opt-out. Yeah? I believe that opt-out is a viable solution. It's the same as, say, having feedback on eBay. Yeah? You can actually make your feedback private. But when you do that, people will question, well, why? Yeah? And that's fine. If I want to opt out and make myself a private character so that people have to come and ask me about things if they want to know any information about me, then that's cool. But you know what? I actually value the idea of building up a reputation on your server and not having people judge you significantly by what gear you're using or what reputations in-game you have rather than your actual character reputation. You know, are you a reputable character? Yes or no? And now you're going to have people judging them, well, he's only got 150 herbalism, he must suck, or hey, he's still using a piece of AQ40 gear, or anything like that. Or he's made an odd gear choice, or he's made an odd spec choice. That doesn't define you as a player. And I think that's a very, very dangerous road to go down, because you are taking the idea a lot further than it used to be. It used to be a case of, well, you might be defined by the gear you have and the amount of progress you've made in raiding. That's cool, because that does define you quite significantly as a person. If you have progressed and earned a lot of gear in AQ40 or Naxxramas, then in theory, certainly in theory, you should be a pretty damn good raider. In theory. But what happens when people start defining people by what gear they now have? Because maybe they've replaced it with some Dungeon Set 3, or what choice they've made in various other respects. You know, if they've got a bizarre choice in spec, or they are doing various other odd things with their character that they just want to do out of personal preference, and people get judged by it. I think that's a very bad thing. People should have to build up reputation within their communities. It's a community-building thing. And if you change that with something cold and statistical and mechanical, then I believe you're really actually creating some damage. You're really creating a little bit of a void underneath the community and saying, well, you know, all your old-style community stuff is old hat because you can now view all of these statistics and judge people on numbers. I don't believe that that's a good thing whatsoever. Yeah, I really don't. Yeah, you could judge me by the amount of honourable kills I have and say whether or not I'm a good PvPer. I'm not an amazing PvPer, but I used to be a pretty damn good duelist when I had the spec for it. And now you can look at my arena wins to losses and say that I'm the worst PvPer on the planet because I happen to be PvPing with a 61-point arcane spec and gear which is geared towards PvE, just because I do it for a laugh. You know, myself and my shaman friend go in there for a laugh. But you can judge me by that. And that's not a good thing. That really is not a good thing in my honest opinion. Now, I have no doubt that you guys have some opinions on this, so feel free to email themurloc@gmail.com. themurloc@gmail.com. And just tell me, what do you think about the Armory? What do you think about Blizzard
in general, taking other people's ideas and implementing them into the game. Good thing, bad thing. Blizzard's always done it, of course, with WoW, but just how far can Blizzard go without effectively becoming plagiaristic? And I did just say, Blizzard actually committing plagiarism as regards to other people's ideas. How acceptable is that? I would love to know what you think about that. Email themole@gmail.com. Right. Something that a lot of you have been waiting for, and I have a special announcement to give after this particular interview. Spirit Wolf is a legendary comic artist. You might have seen his work all over the forums. I have an interview with him. 20 minutes of glorious interview with the Australian nutter known as Spirit Wolf. You're listening to Blue Please here on WoW Radio. Myself, Total Biscuit. The Spirit Wolf interview. Enjoy.
Only need one fucking more.
You're listening to Blue Please here on WoW Radio. Legendary now, Spirit Wolf, joining me for an interview. Please say hello.
Good morning, Mr. Biscuit. This is the Spirit Wolf, sometimes known as Spirit, sometimes known as Wolf, other times it's just Tom. How are we all going today?
Not too shabby, not too shabby. I hear it's the future over there.
Yes, it's Friday morning, 9:33, and it's getting bloody hot in this little bit of the Spirit Wolf cave.
Indeed, and how is the future looking at this point in time?
It's grim, I'm afraid. The apes are taking over.
Oh, god damn it, not again. Well, it's fortunate that we have druids that can tank 5 gorillas, has to be said. Now, I believe I was dragging you on air for an interview of some sort.
Yes, so I heard. So, you woke me up and I put my pot of tea on.
Ah, you have a pot of tea?
Yes, I'm just pouring another one now. It's fabulous.
It better well be, as you have an interview to do. And would you like to explain to the listeners just who you are and what you're doing here?
Alrighty, well, once again, my name's Spirit Wolf. I started as a level 1 troll shaman on the Blackrock server, which was high population for us Australians mostly. This was before the Oceanic servers came out. But, we're looking at... I haven't seen a queue on WoW servers for years now, but there used to be something like 50,000 40-minute wait just to get on my server. So I've transferred like 3 times since then, when the free servers opened up, once to Dagger Spine, where the Spirit Wolf story began, and now I'm on Nasjata, US, just hanging out with some IRL friends in my old guild. Back on Dagger Spine, I guess, I started making comics, which some of you may or may not have seen. It started off as pretty random attention-seeking, I guess. I just made a thread about me destroying a scorpion outside Orgrimmar, because, man, if you don't destroy those scorpions outside Orgrimmar, your city is screwed.
It's true, it's true. I mean, they will be attacked in some kind of Starship Trooper style, and you can see the orcs and trolls sitting on the roofers and piles of scorpions. Yeah, not pleasant at all. I mean,
you think those priests are going to dispel your poison, man? I mean, they just hang around the auction house.
It's true, it's true. I'm not going to dispute that one. So, you do comics, and...
Yeah.
How do you do comics? I mean, what's your inspiration?
My inspiration is forum drama, through and through. I mean, sometimes some funny stuff will happen in-game, like, the one my guild never let down was the fact that I once wiped a Vale raid, which I'm pretty sure half the WoW population has. But,
hang on, you wiped a Vale raid? How did you do that?
Well, I actually stopped to read the debuff on something called Burning Adrenaline, I believe, and yeah, that turned out to be a bit of a mistake.
Yeah,
so that
I could at least grind out the rest of this level.
Comic material. But
so you're starting to pick on your own failings as well as the failings of others in your comics.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I'll poke fun at myself. I mean, that's where half the humour is. But if the opportunity arises to pay somebody out, well, I'll be nice about it. At least they get a pretty comic in the end.
That's true. That's true. So, do you actually tend to wait to look for choice pieces of forum drama? Are you kind of like some kind of comic vulture that swoops in low and grabs a nice fresh piece of forum drama, or do you actually go and actively hunt for it when you feel like I need to do a new comic now?
That pretty much is a bit of both. I mean, sometimes on some nights, I'll get bored with WoW, go kill another 60 of these, and I'll hit up the forums while I'm alt-tabbing, and, looking through it, trying to find somebody saying something just stupid enough for Spirit Wolf to leap in and kind of prey on it. I think I said once before that it's just my intention to kind of be the first reply in a thread, because then you get a lot of other people picking up on it.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, that's good for promotion as well. Yeah, I mean, as regards to forum drama and all that kind of thing, how do you think the World of Warcraft forums have fared since launch? Have they got worse and worse? Is there now more Spirit Wolf-worthy material there than there used to be?
Well, it kind of depends. I mean, obviously it varies from server to server. I'm lucky enough to be on a PvP server, which is one of the main reasons I'm on a PvP server, was for the sexy drama material. But, you know, people, they hate this game. They love to hate it, and that's what makes it brilliant.
That's very true.
I mean, the drama that comes up just about, you know, Blizzard themselves, you know, nerf this, buff that, etc, etc, etc. And then you got pretty much your guild drama and your own game guild saying, hey, look at us, we beat Nephirim before you guys, and everyone else is like, oh, yeah, well, we were busy.
Yeah, exactly. We were playing table tennis, you know. Oh, yeah, it's all good. I mean, as regards to your comics, did you start... I know you had a guild forum that you used to post them in. Was that where you actually started posting them, or did you jump in the deep end and go straight for the general forums and try and make a name for yourself there?
Well, once the first one was totally spontaneous. I was bored one day doing this Scorpion one, and this was before I had Model Viewer or Map Viewer or anything like that, so it was taken wholly with screenshots in-game. And I did a lot of comics like that before I actually got into Model Viewer, and it was a great learning experience, really, because I started using... My best friend was my Sentry Totem, Shaman Sentry Totem.
Yeah.
You can place it where you want, and that's my mobile tripod. So yeah, there's a tip for all you aspiring Shaman comic makers out there.
Mobile tripod totem, nice.
Yeah. Something I'm gonna do.
After that, you know, I mean, the story that had a lot of people start loving or loving to hate
check out that motherfucker near the lake.
Actually got into the one and only endgame guild on my server through a couple of comics.
Beware the living. Speak quickly.
Excellent, adventurer. At this rate, the Syndicate pest will be rid from the land in no time.
Sure.
So the humans thought to turn our warriors into slaves, did they? We'll show them. It would seem that they have taken Goldir, our leader, to another location. We must find him and rescue him, but we currently have no clue where he is. When we have a lead, I will be sure to tell you, adventurer.
Right.
Go with honor.
Okay. So yeah, well, let me get this quest.
Hello. Another day, another elixir to be made. If it were up to me, I'd just let the pathetic humans and Scourge fight it out. They seem bent on killing each other as is. Alas, our Dark Lady wants to help speed up the process a tad, so why not pass these morbid days by spreading a little death and disease across the land? Here's the plan, adventurer. You go out to Nethander Stead, south of Tarren Mill, and east of the river and South Shore. Collect for me 6 mud snout blossoms from the field for my next elixir.
Victory for Sylvanas.
We will do that. But yeah. Might as well check dude in here real quick.
Can I show you what I have for sale?
Not if you say it like that. Good.
Remember.
Okay. We'll send that back. Okay. I should send the leather too. I'll do that. Eventually. Alright. Now where is the dude on the lake? Okay. You good boy. Yeah. You good boy, Mello. It's alright. Yeah, dum-dum.
Right.
Yeah.
Which, you know, that's obviously before I started posting them on the Nowhere to Run guild forums.
Yeah, of course. Was that the...
picked me up.
Yeah, I was going to say, was that the reference that you made in one of your comics as regards to some kind of gnomish teleportation device and you ended up on the Dagger Spine server and asked if guys were recruiting? Is that the same guild?
Yeah, it was because these guys came from BlackRock as well, but you know, this was I transferred off BlackRock when I was like in my level 30s, so I didn't really know anything about the end game. And you know, these guys on BlackRock were raiding, you know, Molten Core and such, and then we get on a Dagger Spine, and the threads on their forums are pretty much, hey, we got dragged down to 30%.
Imba.
Yeah, do it.
So I started making these comics, and then the one that got me picked up, and I must say, I won't lie, it was my intention to get into this guild at this point. So I made a comic about how lonely and sad I was being guildless and how nobody would invite me.
Wow, that's fucking retarded.
And then, you know, one of them sent me a tell saying, alright, you know, we might be able to invite you, but you're still going to have to act like everybody else.
Shit.
Yeah.
So, you know, I thought, how am I going to apply? Because I still know nothing about this game when it comes to class balance and spells and skills and that. So I applied, I went into my little sister's room and I got a box of crayons, piece of A4 paper, and I wrote down my application. Scanned it in, sent it in. It made no sense whatsoever. It mentioned that Australia was like America, only smaller with more spiders.
What?
And a couple of hours later I was in Nowhere to Run and decked out in full Tier 1.
So, just to recap on that, you sent them an application in crayon. What colour was the crayon?
Was, you know, it was black and white scan, so it's a greyish, blackish colour.
Yeah. You sent an application crayon. I mean, that's legendary in itself, surely.
Yeah, it was posted around for a while. I didn't think they'd take it seriously enough to invite me, though, but, you know, I'm still in the guild to this day.
Yeah.
Hi, guys.
Yeah, so definitely a shout out to Spirit Wolves Guild right there. Now, one of your more famous comics is, I believe, was called The Hacked Adventures. Now, I assume, did you actually get yourself hacked? I mean, talk us through the story there.
Yeah, well, you know, like a lot of people nowadays, I logged in one morning to find a naked troll shaman. I mean, usually I wouldn't mind there being a naked troll shaman because, come on, it's Spirit Wolf. But, you know,
sexy troll, the sexy troll.
Log in and to find, I think it was like 20-something epics just gone. I mean, he was nice enough to leave me with something along the lines of level 15 enchanting, which I didn't mind because I ended up keeping enchanting. But yeah, I wasn't sure what to do, you know. I just had to think, my goodies, holy crap, what happened, you know. I lost all my epics, so everyone told me to go to the customer service forums and, you know, make a general post that people know. So I submitted an in-game ticket first, and then I went to the customer service forums, wrote down, you know, what happened, and I was about to hit post, and I thought, wait a minute, you know, this is a forum like any other forum. This is chance for some Spirit Wolf material right here. So I did the usual, opened up Photoshop, which is what I use, and that one was, I think, 8 pages on the first run.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? I mean, is that something that you do? It's something you do, you just post it bit by bit? Because I noticed you did, I think, wasn't it one of the CMs, or the US CMs, you know, asked why he wasn't in it, and then the next frame, yeah, this moon kid.
There he was.
Yeah.
But, yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't actually do storyboards or write down stuff in advance. I just do it straight into Photoshop, you know, just wing it, keep editing until I'm happy with it. And then, you know, since it's a forum, people post after you post the comic, and they might say something else that can be added onto it, and then you just keep going. Yeah. So in the end, it was about 15 pages all up. And, you know, I mean, I think I got more blue replies in that thread than I did normal people, so that, I think it was about 300,000 views or something over the first
week. I read that thread. People got really psyched over it. It became a worldwide thing. Yeah, I know. It ended up on the EU forums as well. I know someone reposted it there.
Nice. I didn't expect it, you know. I just thought I'd give the GMs there are like, is they actually, you know, they read every thread and they post almost every thread. So I thought I'd show them out. But yeah, you know, and then I ended up getting the customer service managers or whatever from the general forums come over into my thread, which I think was, how's it pronounced, Coriel or Zerk or something.
Zerk, yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, added them bit by bit. And it ended up becoming really the Game Master's story, not the Spirit Wolf story.
It was good. I mean, the Game Masters actually features in a couple of other comics. What was the name of the guild? The guild that got banned for bypassing the Cthulhu trash, and he did a comic about them.
Overrated.
That's the one, yes. And I believe the GM's made a reappearance there. Are the GMs becoming, those particular GMs becoming something of a regular feature in your comics now? Do you plan to include them in future stories?
There's something like a G-Man from Half-Life, you know, you just sit in the background, just blending in, ninjaing it up. But, you know, I'd like to do another one again. I mean, they want me to do another one again. I got an email from GM Batter around Christmas saying,
really?
Hey, it's Christmas, you know, how's about a bit of a Game Master comic extravaganza, which I would have loved to have done. But, you know, Christmas time, busy, etc.
Busy, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Speaking of busy,
I'll try and hit it up.
It does look like you've been busy yourself with a certain project. Does the Druid Epic Flying form spring to mind?
Yeah, the one with the dual blaster cannons, perhaps?
Yes, indeed, that one. How on earth did you get involved in that?
Yeah, that's a good question, actually, because it was never an intention to get involved with that. I've got one of the Hackelman brothers on my MSN, and he sent me the audio file for that movie, you know, when he was still working on it. And I asked him, you know, have you designed the Epic Flight form yet? And he said, no, but, you know, my brother's working on it, he's got some ideas. And I said, you know, I must give you some concept art. I was bored, so I whipped up Photoshop, and I made the bird, which you see in the end result right there. You know, I sent it to him, and he opened it up, and he said, dude, you know, you're so going in the credits. Okay. So yeah, I blue screened it for him, and I did it in 2 different positions, which didn't take too long. And there he is, 5,000% flight speed.
Absolutely, yeah. Is Machinima something you're particularly interested in? Is it something you perhaps intend to do in the future?
I love Machinima. I love Night Flame stuff. I love Voxon stuff, and Rufus Cubed and the like. A lot of the ones you're starting to see coming on YouTube now due to that competition. Yeah, I'd like to do it myself. I mean, I've tried a couple of times. You know, I'll start doing my thing, get about 15 seconds in, and then wake up to find the phone propped in my mouth, and I'm dead on the keyboard because it's just so damn long and hard.
It's difficult, there's no two ways about it. It does take some time.
Yeah, I mean, I believe I could do it because I know how to do the model viewers stuff. I got fraps on the computer that can handle it. But man, you need some serious dedication if you're going to start making Machinima. So my hat goes off to all you boys and girls out there.
Absolutely no two ways about that. Now, as part of the, hopefully, I would say, ever-growing community, within a community of creative people actually creating things around World of Warcraft, do you think that Blizzard is doing enough to support creative works within the community? And do you see that creative works have a specific benefit to the community as far as expanding WoW's horizons and the audience that it goes out to?
Well, Blizzard, you know, they do take some care. They have their fan art competitions, they war pages competitions sometimes. You know, they still got that ongoing
fucking
comic
time.
One. And the community spotlight, of course. So, you know, they're doing a part, but they got to realise, I suppose, that it's starting to get even bigger than that. You know, there's more people out there. Almost everybody on every server's got somebody who's, you know, their own Spirit Wolf, so to speak, posting stuff on the forums. And I think a lot of people have said this on the general forums before, but would love to see a bit of a fan art forum in itself, you know, a thread where people can post their works and chill out and chat about it, claim each other, and then Spirit Wolf can jump in and make a comic about it. You know, it'd be awesome.
Yeah, that sounds like a really good idea. So any Blizzard people listening, I know you're listening, I know you listen to my show, despite the fact that you hate my guts. It's a suggestion. It's a fan art forum. Give it for the Spirit Wolf.
Come on, I'll make a comic for you.
Yeah, you know you want to. Now, as regards to comics themselves, Do you read any comics, both terrestrial and web comics? What kind of comics do you enjoy?
That was fucking trash.
I've always read web comics like Penny Arcade, BG Cats, and Daily Dinosaur comics, the ones that are on my favourites bar right here.
Yeah.
And recently a friend got me into, all the old school Marvel comics and that, and I've been reading Civil War finally and such, which, I was never actually into comics when I started making it, but it's kind of research really, because I want to try and make the frames more interesting, because at the moment it's just usually 3 frames on top of each other. So you actually see a new one on the WoW Radio forums if you want to head on over in the Scribble thread. Third page is posted there, and it's starting to look a little bit more interesting than usual.
Yes, it features a certain nasty raid boss, if I remember correctly.
Yes, Nightbane, the Eternal.
The Eternal.
I don't even know what he does. I'm just presuming he breathes fire, because, that's what dragons do. So.
I assume a dragon made entirely out of flame and shadow does have some kind of fire element to it. I can't really see him spitting kittens and perhaps engaging in some kind of gardening in the process of the fight. It's not going to happen.
Well, now watch what you say, otherwise you might find him doing it in that thread soon.
Oh dear.
But yeah. Actually, I think my guild might be doing Nightbane right now, so,
really?
Guys, give it up. I know you want some enhancement, charm, and help, but, I'm on WoW Radio, you see, I'm busy.
A bit busy, yeah, definitely. Well, that's very, very good indeed. Now, just as a final question, what would you say to people starting out in webcomics? Because, let's face it, let's be brutally honest here, there's a lot of webcomics that aren't actually funny. Now, what would you say to people as regards to the essence of making a comic funny?
Essence of making a comic funny? Well, the secret is, one of the reasons Spirit Wolf's comics become so funny is because it appeals to a certain crowd. They find it funny because they know they're of an exclusive audience of people that would actually get it. Especially the ones I post on my Realm forums. If I were to show anybody them, they've got characters from my server, they'll be like, what's going on? This doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, of course.
So I suppose you got to, play around for a bit, get to know your peoples, your community,
even for a fucking
target audience.
Yeah, exactly. Or otherwise, you could just, make fun of the gameplay mechanics like a lot of other people do, and which is just as easy because they're pretty easy to make fun of.
Very true, very true. We do it all the time.
Now, Blizzard's trying really hard.
Yes, Blizzard are trying really, really hard. Yes, anyway, so, I believe you have a website, or at least a forum where we can catch some of your work.
I don't have a dedicated website. I've got like a million websites, spread across. I've got the Mindflame website, which is www.mindflame.com. My guild's website, nowheretorun.org, and posted comics in various threads and stuff.
So, can we hope to see perhaps a unified Spirit Wolf front at some point in the not-so-distant future?
I'd like to. I've tried before to, get into the rhythm to make a weekly comic, but I just can't, write. I fail at writing. That's why I rely wholly and solely on what I can find on the forums. So, if you're going to flame somebody, try and make it just a little bit creative.
Indeed. You heard it here first, folks. Spirit Wolf, thank you very, very much for visiting us today. I think you've got a song you'd like us to play.
Yeah, that'd be great. It's Anamena Gucci. Yeah.
Anamena Gucci. It's silly bleepy music, isn't it?
It's 8-bit, a bit of a tune. I know you guys want to listen to it, get into it, get back to your Super Nintendo days.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, we go.
Well, thank you very much for coming on. It's
you know
been
enough to be dangerous, but you still look like you need...
Yeah.
Goodbye to all you sexy WoW Radio listeners out there.
Indeed, and we hope to see you around the WoW Radio forums and all over the place. Time for some of his music. I can't pronounce the title, I'm just going to play it. This is WoW Radio, this is Blue Please, my name's Total Biscuit, and that is Mr. Spirit Wolf. Absolutely.
Bye.
Enjoy.
That it? That sucks. Okay.
Want to make your demons more powerful? It'll cost you, but you've come to the right place.
Yeah. Still don't know why the fuck this doesn't update. Like on every other character I have. So fucking dumb.
What now?
Yeah, introduce myself. However long this is gonna take.
Here's more Captain Dan for you. Be aware of potential vulgarity.
Good, you've got some grit. I like that. Well then, let's get going.
Do not.
The rogue's quarter.
I want all of you to put your hooks in the air. All the real swashbucklers, throw your hooks in the air. And wave them all around like you just don't care. A sword and gunfire, we get what we require. But tonight, my mateys, get down with me. All the real swashbucklers, throw your hooks in the air. And wave them all around like you just don't care. We bounce up and down like the turn of the tide. If you want to have a party, baby, let us inside.
Back the hell up when we sail into the club. Get your hand too close and you'll be pulling back a stub. It's a party at night, alright, it's time to get down. It's a sight to see when the crew hits the town. On the high seas, there's hardly ever time to chill. Empty the coffers, then we raid and refill. Hit a merchant at sea, then a port in Brazil. Mountains are molehills when you got this kind of skill. I'm a maniac, set to attack. I've got a knack for dishing out and taking flack. Give me some rum, wine, or a bottle of Jack, and we'll see who's at the bottom of the sea in a sack. All the bottles broken, we be leaving the city smoking. We ain't finished this soon. We blunder from midnight to noon till we sold in each and every little single doubloon. All the while singing this tune.
All the real swashbucklers, throw your hooks in the air. And wave them all around like you just don't care. A sword and gunfire, we get what we require. But tonight, my mateys, get down with me. All the real swashbucklers, throw your hooks in the air. And wave them all around like you just don't care. We bounce up and down like the turn of the tide. If you wanna have a party, baby, let us inside. I bet you're wondering why my hook's all covered in jewels. Because you scurvy fools, I don't follow the rules. I'll take your rubies, I'm no newbie, use your head as a buoy. I'll make your health fail, cause that men tell no tales. Never fails that our treasure's always breaking the scales. We're so ruthless from the start, we can't be kept in the jail. My eye patch is made of gold, with gems in its folds. Me hook has got them too, I can count quite a few. Of the treasures and the riches that I snatched from me crew. So let's get to the point, I'm the head of this joint. It's the HMS Wickets, selling out all the tickets. That's just how we kick it, with all these emeralds and ingots. We come and drop and dive, just like old times. I could kill you with my wit or my razor sharp rhymes. My from the port of St. Kitts. You got a scurvy crew style that you hate to admit. All the real swashbucklers got your hooks in the air and wave them all around like you just don't care. The sword and gunfire, we get what we require. But tonight, my mateys get down with you. All the real swashbucklers got your hooks in the air.
I think I'm gonna try to make the way to ratchet. Kill that dude there.
Ask the Murloc.
Queen's Bishop to Rook King 5. What do you mean that's an illegal move? The Murloc is not for your flippantry. Criticize my elite style of play again, I'll have you diced and put in a stew and thrown over all the nearest peasants. Speaking of, here's some of them right now. That one, take him away. Why? I don't like that kind of his jib. He looked at me funny. Throw him into the pond. Oh, spidery. The rest of them, looking timid now. How delicious, yes. No, don't sit down on the new carpet. You'll cover it in your man filth. Unacceptable. Stand in line, over there, on the tiles. They're easier to clean. You, the one with the pig-like visage. Speak now.
Smell like poor.
Dear Murloc, I'm skilled in mining and skinning. I want to drop skinning and take up blacksmithing.
I mean, it tastes like even poorer.
Drop skinning? I see your peasant brain only has the capacity for 2 trade skills. How incredibly unfortunate for you. The Murloc is a grandmaster of all, so powerful that he can craft Darkanite Reapers from oatmeal and sticky tape and conjure Eternium from thin air. Yes, indeed, thin air. Some people might call it hacks. The Murloc calls it talent. However, I only see one solution. To remove skinning, you must remove your skin. Transcend the boundaries of flesh and entomb yourself in an immortal biometal body. Fortunately, the Murloc can craft this for you using copper bars and a ball of string. Then you will be forever bound to serve my will and harvest a galaxy worth of souls for my purposes. You will be a journeyman blacksmith, yes, indeed. And you'll be able to craft all these crude but nice things for your village and feed your children and cause happy kittens to emerge from the twisting ether. And all that good stuff, yes. Ha!
Ask the Murloc.
Dear Murloc, what is the fastest way to get to 70? Would you recommend grinding over questing? I would recommend spontaneous combustion over your face. Burn, y'all. You know how we do. Sorry. Don't know what came over me there. Perhaps the spirit of MC Murloc and his Illin ads from beyond the grave. I heard he got into a dispute with some hip fellows over the market value of some narcotic products that turned out to be chopped parsley. And is now sleeping with the fishes, which, quite frankly, is rather unsavory in my honest opinion. But yes, your question. Quite obviously, the answer to that is whether or not you want to have fun or simply get there faster. The more enjoyable but slower way is to grind the same mob to 70. I would recommend mana rates, particularly if you're an arcane spec mage. Trust me, hilarity will ensue. If you're looking for the fastest way, however, I would recommend questing. However, this generally involves being a glorified errand boy and all that reading, the pastime of the bored, smelly scholars, not the hero of Azeroth. The truly bold will avoid the reading element altogether and stride forth, completely unaware of where their Quario objective is. Adds to the adventure, yes. And besides, you can always ask your fellow heroes where everything is, repeatedly. They won't mind. Now, horsey to Pawn Queen 17. What do you mean it's a night? It's mid-afternoon, you fool! Get your eyes tested, or I have them gouged out and fed to Jeffrey the irate hamster. Ha ha!
Ask the Murloc.
Primed for action.
Torqued to the breaking point.
And fueled by 3 gallons of Noggin Fogger Elixir. This is WoW Radio.
Yes, indeed, folks. You listen to Blue Please here on WoW Radio with myself, Total Biscuit. Running short on time, as per always now with Blue Please. I actually really, really like that feeling. There's this feeling of urgency to the whole thing, yeah. And, of course, you just heard that's the Murloc. Before that, Captain Dan, the Scurvy Crew. Real swashbucklers, throw your hooks in the air. Again, check them out, myspace.com/Captain Dan. And you do, of course, have the opportunity to win Captain Dan's album, along with various other nice goodies from non-existent records. All you need to do is enter the Where is the RP contest. Do your best pirate impression over the next week and email it in to themurloc@gmail.com with the subject Where is the RP.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, I've got one final topic to cover. It's the
Second wind.
topic for next week. Now, why on earth I had that so loud and echoing back, I really don't know. But the problem is fixed. I definitely aren't making mistakes or anything. So, yeah, second wind topic for next week is going to be just how difficult is too difficult? An interesting question, one might say. Now, interestingly enough, there has been whining on the forums, and there's been a recent blue post claiming, and typical when I need it. Oh, there we go. It's loaded up now. That basically says that some of the content is too hard. It is, in fact, too hard, and as such, they're going to nerf some of it. Now, the question is that a good idea? Now, let's have a look at just what this actually says. Now, we had a guy called Panthro post on the forums, and he said, a raid guild leader's perspective on the Burning Crusade. And he said, we were working on Cthulhu before Burning Crusade. We were only raided 3 nights a week, and we were probably the 4th, 5th most progressed guild in our server. We tried to maintain a very small raiding core, and I think the 3 nights a week schedule really helped eliminate burnout. I want to post on some of the topics, blah, blah, blah. And he's putting out stuff like, apparently, the normal mode 5-mans are very, very well designed, short, fun, with appropriate rewards, good guild, group one-shots them, done with an hour, that's great, great, great. Enjoying the arenas, the questions more varied. And now he says there's some serious problems on the horizon. He says the scale up in difficulty from 5-mans to heroic 5-mans in Karazhan is intense. We've cleared through MOV on our first time, then spent this week banging our heads against Romeo and Juliet. Most of our team has the best gear out of 5-mans, since our gear is not going to get much better, and our skills will improve only so much after 2 years of raiding. The only way we'll be able to reliably beat this content is using massive amounts of consumables, at least 2 to 4 flasks and food and pots elixirs for everyone. This kind of consumable mania is really against the spirit of our 3 nights a week semi-casual raiding philosophy. If I need to spend 8 hours a week farming for raids, I will likely not raid. And he's basically saying also the gear improvements from raiding are too poor. If the tiered sets do not scale up from anything more than we've seen from tier 3.5 to tier 4 to tier 5. What tier 3.5 is, I assume is only dungeon set 3, I will never ever know. Then more difficult content will just mean more consumables, more farming, and less people seeing raid content. So, and he also said that the keying process is apparently too difficult. He's not worried about our normal raiders, but what if you lose a raider and then 5 months down the road you need to have some more fill-ins for, say, Black Temple or whatever, and you have to key them through all this stuff. Right. Now, we've had some replies from Tigol specifically. Yes, we all love Tigol. Definitely love Tigol.
Help! Help! I'm being repressed!
So, he's saying this. We're discussing various solutions to the issues with consumable. We're aware of the issue and agree that it is an issue. With that said, I don't really think Karazhan is overly difficult and requires massive amounts of consumables. Having seen Kiki's guild deal with most of Karazhan, I would pretty much have to agree with that. It doesn't require massive amounts of consumables at all. Some
Greetings and salutations, hero.
For potions
I have
and
the latest
consumables.
news
We
from
discussed
both
this back in the day.
Attention, young adventurers.
Are an element,
The wilds
and they
of
always will be
Ashenvale.
an element of raiding.
No, they don't.
But you see guilds that can now get
They
through
do not
it.
call for me.
And hey, they do it. That's great. Now, I would say that there has to be a challenge, and that consumables
I haven't
should
been
be an
Ratchet
element.
yet.
Of course,
Fuck
not
my ass.
overly so. But
God
then
damn
again,
it.
in my opinion, they're not overly used. Because from what I've seen, consumables are not a major issue within Karazhan, particularly. Now, we go on, and he says that the gear improvements are too poor. Now, Tigol says, we're taking another look at raiding gear. I'd agree with your statement. Okay, fair enough. I can't say I massively agree with that. Some of it is a bit gash, to be quite honest. Some of Tier 4 is not amazing, but then again, supposedly Tier 4 is supposed to be easier to acquire than Tier 3 was, and of course some Tier 3 is arguably better than Tier 4, and I think that's fair enough. Shame that no one's going to go back to Nax anytime soon, but there you go. Now, the thing which really gets me is that the keying process is apparently too difficult. And this is Tigol's reply to that. I partially agree and partially disagree. We have some ideas that will help people catch up who join the end game later on. With that said, I'm not so sure endgame players would like the face of the game if everyone had instant access to all the content. There was something to be said for progression and the sense of accomplishment. Don't get me wrong, we had to be careful not to create a brick wall for new people, but I think there was a balance to be struck here. And now, to be honest, I would say the balance has been struck. The keying up process, in my opinion, is very well done. You can key up for a lot of it in pugs. Yeah, the heroic stuff you can't do, but, well, that's what a guild's for. And, hey, newer players, previous guilds could have keyed up already. A lot of the keying up can be done very, very easily. Yeah, some of the harder keying up, like for the eye, yeah, that's difficult. The Trials of the Naru, that's difficult. You've got to do heroic stuff. Well, yeah, live with it. It's not supposed to be easy to get in there in the first place. Because if it was, then you've got a problem with people powering through content. Blizzard is aware of how quickly people can power through content, and they've created keying up processes, unlocking processes in order to do that. And in my opinion, that is a pretty good way of doing things. Would we really want to see a game where High Owl's already been beaten, where all these other things have already been beaten, just because there isn't a keying up process and you don't have to go from one to the next to the next to the next? Yeah, well, in my opinion, that's how the progression should work, because that's how it used to work. You didn't go from Molten Core to AQ40. You went from Molten Core's Blackwing Lair to AQ40. Generally speaking, you didn't go from Blackwing Lair to Nax, because you just got owned. You know, yeah, you could go from Blackwing Lair and maybe take the first boss of Nax and maybe Vesuvius, but after that, you're just not getting anywhere. Good game, because you haven't done difficult content before that. The problem is, yeah, that was a linear progression from one to the next to the next to the next. As the content was implemented, people went to it. Now there's a whole bunch of content all at the same time, and the keying up process is a great way to give direction to players, in my opinion. That's really the way it should work. Now here's the real thing that really gets my goat. Apparently, and here's one of the complaints from this guy, there seems to be a distinct lack of 25-man raids that are going to be doable by, quote, normal guilds. Whatever a normal guild is, I really don't know. However, I see people already taking Gruul, and they're not amazing guilds, and they are doing it, and they are progressing slowly, as they should be. Well, you want to burn through all this content so fast and have nothing to do, you'd be an idiot. That's all I can say to that. And the problem is, Tigol's actually caving into it, and he's saying, I agree. As I've already stated on these forums, Mag Theridon is proving more difficult than intended. It's a friggin' pit lord! Of course it's difficult! Sorry, but if it was a little pussycat, then that wouldn't be much of an epic raiding counter, would it? And I said, we're planning on toning him down. We've made some minor fixes to Gruul. Okay, fixes, fair enough. Fixes are cool, you know. We already know that, say, areas of Serpent Shrine are pretty bugged, and there's issues there, and that could be done with fixes. But is it a fix, or is it a nerf? There's your question. And again, apparently Gruul needs to be toned down. Loads of people are beating Gruul already. Why should it be toned down? No, you're supposed to work for your epics. That's the point. If you don't want to work for your epics, then go PvP. Or go and have your dungeon set 3. There you go, that's what you're getting. I find it pretty friggin' disgraceful, quite frankly, that they are willing to cave in this much. Yeah, sure, content should be accessible for people, but there's a lot of content that is accessible for people. And again, I'm training my guild up through heroics. I'm not jumping straight into Karazhan or trying 25 mans. I'm training them up. Anyone can do that. Anyone can train their guild up in heroics. And we're going in there with gear that was acquired during the Burning Crusade, quest items and instance drops. We're not going in there with tier 3. We're not even going in there with tier 2.5, most of us anyway. We're going in there with gear that came from Burning Crusade and was easy to acquire. And we'll do it. You know, we'll train our guild up and we'll do it. And we'll enjoy every second of it. I hope, anyway. And we'll enjoy the fact that it was great progression. You know, we have progressed and we've felt a genuine sense of accomplishment. The problem is, people want instant satisfaction. It's like candy. It's like, I want candy now. Wow, wow, wow. I want to get this stuff right now. Tough. Start from the bottom and you work your way up. If you've already accomplished a lot in the previous game, chances are you're going to accomplish quite a lot now. Let's say, for instance, my old guild Lethe has downed High Lord Mulgar already and cleared Karazhan, okay? And they were on the 6th boss of Nax. Now, of course, take Nihilum, they've already downed Mag Theridon, they've already taken the first boss of Serpent Shrine World first, and now they're dealing with the Eye. Which is a very appropriate time to announce what I was about to give you as regards to a very special announcement. We've been doing a few interviews recently, but I'm sure people know of a guild called Nihilum. Nihilum will be interviewed in a few weeks' time, only here on Blue Please, the only show that can get Nihilum. The only radio station that can get Nihilum. This is WoW Radio. Members from Nihilum will be on our show, and we'll be talking to them about the Eye, their raid progression, and their opinions of the Burning Crusade. Stay tuned on WCRadio.com to find out what's going on there. And that was, of course, my...
Time is money, friend!
Feel free to email in during the week if you're listening to the archive, or in fact you just listen to the live show about Second Wind topic, and you can get your emails read out on next week's show. I apologise, people, I have not had time to read out all your emails. That's just the way the show's gone. So there you go. Right. Okay. Shout-out time. You have a few minutes to get some shout-outs to me. Coming up after this, we have Speedy and Max Maps versus The World, as in Octail and Hordak are off doing a pre-release event for some amazing card game called Spoils, which is apparently great fun. So, of course, Max Maps and Speedy will be taking over for their show. It's coming up in just a few short minutes' time, but it's shout-out time. Shout-out time. Let's go, yo, and in fact, yo. So, Right. Let's rock and roll. Now, apparently, Leothoris has been down by death and tax, the second boss in Terrain World First. Yeah, we know that, but then again, no one cares about that anymore. Because everyone's going about, ooh, look the eye, how interesting. I've got some shout out to Handlebars on Vecnalash US Arena 2v2 team. Gimpen Ain't Easy is now recruiting on Vecnalash US. Send Leo Afterburn Tell on Vecnalash US. Also, get in touch with Max Maps if you want to join a PvE progression guild. He's setting one up, a small form one in the style of Blue. Please get in touch with Max Maps on the forums, wcradio.com, if you are interested. His alliance, if I remember correctly. A shout out to everyone on Dragonblight EU, especially my guild Duvel. Drink on, that's from May. I'd like to give a shout out to any and all Canadians listening. Let's get some donuts and play some ice hockey. That's from Major Blood. I'm not 100% convinced that that is in fact Canadian. Dark Kids says, can I have a shout out to Scizor, still trying to get transferred to Kazakh Blizzard transfer for the lose. Oh god, don't I know that one. It took me weeks to get all my people from my guild transferring out, I tell you. Can we get a shout out to Fallen Devil on Sylvanas EU, because he has over 20 add-ons and WoW still runs reasonably on his computer. That's from Jamie Sperry, also known as Corrupt. Shout out goes to the Bloodfang Riders, or Raiders in fact, on Maelstrom US for downing the Little Red Robin Hood event. Riding Hood, get it right. My god, the one-shot. Yeah, it's not particularly difficult. Do not DCC chat me or I'll bite off your hands. A shout out to Total Naga from Blue Please, because he is so gangster. He uses lots of Brit sarcasm. Yes, we have a paladin in our guild who believes he's ghetto. It's really quite scary. A shout out to myself and Kurgan Liu on Twilight's Hammer EU. That's from Cetus. A shout out also goes out to Gouged.
Yeah, that's coming to an end. Yeah. Is there anything I can't listen to? Or anything I want to? Okay.
Welcome back, and what a hell of a weekend it was. The PTR was flooded with people trying to find out what MoP Remix is, what it plays like, what things they can get when it goes live, and now we pretty much know all that. It's honestly kind of more insane than we thought, so today in this video, you're going to learn all about it. Kick it off with moving. You can dragon ride, so this is very much not MoP Classic or anything close to it. This is MoP, just played inside Dragonflight, just with your Time Runner character being locked there and a dozen other or so insane twists we'll get into. All of that is extremely obvious when you do the pretty cool intro to this with the infinite Dragonflight that is definitely not teasing any massive lore implications, and then you just start dragon riding around. You get your talents every level, playing Demon Hunter or Evoker or an allied race or whatever floats your boat, all with Dragonflight's UI and visual and engine updates. And honestly, it all feels pretty damn good, just like our sponsor. It's a tool I use all the time for convenience, security, and to save some money. NordVPN.com, by their 30-day money-back guarantee. Cheers, Nord. With that said, let's go. This is not Chromie time. With the experimental gearing and the gem mechanics, this doesn't even feel close to Chromie time. This is more like peering into an alternative universe and seeing a crazy, unrecognizable almost version of WoW. Blood's Death Knight using Blink. Paladins with access to Vanish, slotting your helm with a new spell that drops your party's HP to 1 but shields them instead, and doing whatever the hell this thing is. Pretty cool. Or just going and pulling a full quest worth of mobs and watching them pop like balloons because of your well-planned, not just character build, but gem build, because they really are that impactful. Another thing, you can level in raids. Seriously, one of the fastest ways to level up in MoP Remix is just to queue for LFR while you're playing. Bosses drop extra XP that ends up being upwards of half a level, and with the speed that some LFR bosses go down, it's basically power leveling with a queue time. Pretty crazy. Just as our next thing is, you can get jewelry. Yes, rings, necks, trinkets, they're not really a thing. at least initially, because they are rewards for basically endgame achievements, but otherwise, those items
God
just don't
damn
drop.
it.
So yeah, gearing feels very different, wildly different in this game mode. It'll take a while to get used to, but the game is still flooding you with minor upgrades, and it just lets you destroy your old gear for bronze. More on what bronze is later, but basically it feels really nice to just level up and progress. Filling in those slots just, well, it feels damn good. The actual gearing flow as you level up feels great in this incarnation of WoW. And all that's not even talking about the Cloak of Infinite Potential, which is aptly named. You pick this thing up from the intro quest, and then every mob and quest reward box in this mode can permanently upgrade it with these things called threads, with main stat, stamina, any secondary or tertiary stat, and especially bonus XP gain. So you can have tons of bonus XP, tons of move speed, leech, bunch of extra damage stats, and it's shared, in part, across all of your ults. Basically, just keep playing, and that thing will just get more and more powerful. Leveling, I know a lot of you are excited to get loads of ults up, and man, you're going to be able to. You can power level fast. We haven't had enough time to fully test this in PTR, but the higher level you are, the more cloak threads drop. Way more. Like 1 stat or XP percent per thread turned into like 3 at 30, then 7 at 50. In like 2 hours since hitting 30, this character's XP bonus went from 30-ish to 60-ish. Also, like you just saw, bosses and enemies get obliterated, so it's already pretty fast, with XP doubled, or god forbid, tripled or quadrupled, and of course, you can dragon ride. So yeah, 10 to 70 will eventually be a few hours tops. The next thing then, have you ever wanted a Mog, a mount, or a toy from Pandaria, but you were just never really bothered to farm it, or never lucky enough for the drop? Well, now's your chance. So with bronze, the currency that literally everything you do gives you, you can just buy them outright at the infinite vendors. And those are vendors that you can teleport to with vouchers that you have easy access to. It almost feels like an official Blizzard private server. So if you want the Elgalon mount, farm bronze. The Shav Anger mount, farm bronze. Or, you know, farm them up normally, get bronze, and if you don't get lucky enough to get the thing you want, well, just buy it with the bronze that you get from farming all the things you want. Now, I talked about rare mounts and that sort of thing, but you can also spend bronze on new stuff. Now, I will warn you, some of these more rare things, like, say, the Shav Anger mount or the Elgalon mount, they are actually fairly expensive in bronze, but I do think that that makes sense given how these are pretty damn rare mounts themselves. And it's not just old mounts and old bits of gear, there are also recolors that you can buy with bronze. So a huge list of recolored gear that was never accessible to players. Things like the Shadowpan set, but in its proper coloration, and finally a golden version of the Astral Cloud Serpent from Elgalon. That one though is not for bronze, that is from doing an achievement. And speaking of new old things and achievements, you can pick up Chen Stormstout's genuinely iconic hat, either for your head or for your back, a lovely touch, and his keg from doing some remix achievements. These are from finishing the Krasarang Wilds and Kunlai Summit. But what does that actually mean? That's where things are a little bit different, because finish basically means pick your type of content and just do all of it. So, do you like questing? Then complete the
really getting
campaign.
bored.
Bam, zone done. Do you hate questing? If so, that's actually okay. Explore the zone and kill a bunch of rares. That will unlock the achievement for you. Do you want to play group content? Well, then do all the dungeons and scenarios, or if applicable, say raids in a zone, and that can be considered done for these big new meta achievements. Sometimes you'll need to do 2 in a zone to finish it for the rewards, but basically this is very much a have it your way approach. So for many of you who already have Lore Master, or maybe just don't want to do group content, I mean, you're going to be very well served here. Here's an example. If you want that golden Astral Serpent, you need to finish Veil of Eternal Blossoms. But that basically just means finishing 2 of these 4 achievements. Exalted with the Golden Lotus, Exalted with the August Celestials, Explore and Kill Rares, or do the Veil instances. That's of course Mogashan Paul's Terrace of the Endless Springs, and for some reason also the Scarlet and Skullomance dungeons, which is bizarre. Still though, there's a freedom in this that I think is pretty great. Now, speaking of achievements, here's a neat quirk. If you're an achievement hunter, clear your schedule because, well, there's an achievement for just about everything in Mists of Pandaria in this mode. Clearing scenarios, raids, rares, dungeons, across all difficulties, doing reps, doing campaigns, everything. And when you do an achievement, you get a stack of bronze, from 200 bronze for a minor bronze cache, up to getting 1,000 bronze from the greater bronze cache. So yes, finally, instead of achievements just giving you random points, you actually get something that's useful, that you can spend. And it's even better than that because all of the achievements that have a real counterpart, those are also triggered by doing the remix version. So if you want to go and get Lore Master or Exalted with those reputations, if you do them in remix, well, it will be there in live as well. So you won't have to go and do, say, Golden Lotus Exalted twice. If you do it once in remix, you'll get the achievement on regular non-remix as well. And speaking of those reps, by the way, they'll be pretty easy. Just like with Time Walking, this has bonus reps. So far, we found out that the Order of the Cloud Serpent has a 100% bonus attached. Others are likely the same. And there are new Aid Thee repeatable turn-in quests for every faction, asking for 10 of the farmable lesser charms of good fortune currency that are, you know, from, say, like Timeless Isles, mobs, and things like that. So, yeah, you could go do your regular dailies, or you could just get a whole bunch of charms from doing literally anything else and turn those charms into rep. So, again, that theme of there being a lot of freedom and things being pretty damn generous with progress, that's absolutely running through here. You can look pretty great. Transmog is free in this mode. Nothing costs gold at all, so if you just want to play dress up, this is definitely the place. Now, you can also look great by getting these class sets. These are for finishing Landfall and Isle of Thunder, and yes, if you're keen-eyed, you might have noticed, these are recolors of last year's gorgeous class sets.
Okay, I just don't care. Ugh. I just legit don't care. I'm so bored right now. I think what I'm gonna do... Nice. I think what I'm gonna do is just get into Undercity. And that's just gonna be it. I'm bored of this. Spent too much time just waiting around for nothing at this point. I am fucking bored. I know I'm hardly playing with any kind of sound, but like, what sound are you gonna hear? The footsteps? It's not entertaining enough. Okay, we'll get our rest in XP. Okay, I am bored, so I'm gonna go for the night. So, bye. See you next time. Stay golden. Whatever. Try to have more fun than I'm having, because god damn it. Bye.